Recording! Hangout events! Let's do them! People want Kaveh.
Take a deep breath, as if you're about to blow up a huge balloon. Exhale all your sleepiness into it, and then, poof! It's now flying away.
That doesn't work, Nilu. I still can't sleep. I can still hear the screams. We gotta keep making Bash jokes. We do need to keep making Bash jokes. That's very true. You prefer slow and well-done ones over two, once, and rushed? I don't think any of the other ones felt particularly rushed. Like, I like the Hangout events, generally speaking. It's just that some of them are, like, overly long and kind of devolve into NPC masterpiece theater. Like, the one that always comes to mind that always makes me feel like... The main one I think of that always makes me apprehensive to actually hop back into these things, is Diona's. Diona had that one route that, basically devolved into a the equivalent of a cook-off, but for making alcohol. And it was just, like, two random NPCs going on and on about her ability to make booze or so. I don't remember. I just remember I was really annoyed by it. And then it, like, went on for, like, 2 hours to get all of her hangouts done. But whatever. Since that was a while ago, hers was one of the early ones. Most recent ones like Hazo's and Shinobu's I recall being pretty fun, pretty snappy. So we'll see.
Sunny days are so warm and cozy.
Yeah, quality over quantity.
They make me sleepy.
If they're gonna be one per patch from now on, then that's perfectly fine. As they're actually so long as they're actually good.
I've taken a look at your proposal. It's much better than the ones you showed me before, but I'd still like to make some changes.
Oh god, a Karen.
Come on, not again. Isn't this the 6th proposal I've shown you? What's your issue this time?
It's a bit hard to put into words, but the design still doesn't look quite right to me.
All right,
I have
nitpicky
to say, that's a terribly
Pickerson.
vague and unconvincing explanation. Please enlighten me.
Try saying
what
that
would
one 5
feel
times
more
fast.
right to you?
For starters, don't you think this roof is
Got the
jutting
guide
out
secret,
a
thank you very
bit too
much.
far from the top? It looks almost like the head of a fungus. This door, too. I don't think it needs to be nearly this large. If you
Go
could
cringe,
reduce it to
Kaveh.
around
You
my
know what? Fair
height,
enough.
you could use the leftover materials to construct a few more rooms.
You hate the release the content now of the game industry. Like, it's a happy medium you have to find with gachas. Like, I know before the current Arknights event, there were, like, 2 dead weeks in a row of, like, no content, and apparently people were getting really frustrated about it. In that situation, it's a little more understandable, because the global version of Arknights is already, like, 6 months behind China, which is kind of insane, and you'd think the gap would be getting smaller, not bigger. But apparently not. Apparently it's been getting worse lately. But and in the case of Genshin, like they've gotten to a rhythm for a while now. Like I wish outfits would come along. I wish outfits or skins or whatever you want to call them would come out faster, just because that seems like such an easy thing that they've gone above and beyond for in other games, aka Honkai. And I just don't understand why it's so slow in that case, because it's like free extra money for them. But in terms of the Hangout events, I'm fine with one. We get, like, 1 major event per patch, I'm fine with that. Just a matter of, like, oh god, there's nothing to do in this game sometimes, but again, that's a gacha. They don't intend for you to actually be playing these for that long.
The roof and the door are the most fundamental parts of a building. If we were to change them, then what would be left of the design?
Or
Even
even
if the
achievements.
soul
Cool,
of the
cool.
building won't be lost, all traces of architectural style would be gone. Anyone with the slightest inkling of architectural knowledge would know to leave them alone.
Oh, I understand the principles of what you are saying, of course, but the truth remains that I'm still a bit unhappy with the design as is. Is there anything else that you can do? Oh, actually, I just got an idea. Can we get rid of all the extraneous sections on the roof, so the whole design will just be one vertical structure, similar to that of a tree trunk?
Or, better idea, you could just fucking live in a tree if you're gonna be that goddamn picky about your house. Sound good? I'll help you move in. by putting you through it.
What?
Don't architects often say that symmetry makes everything more balanced and pleasing to the eye? This way, the proportions will be completely balanced.
I really don't know how you managed to come up with such a ridiculous idea. Wait, don't tell me. Someone hired you specifically to commission me and put me through the ringer? Come to think of it, though, I really don't think I've gotten on anyone's bad side recently. Anyway, that's it. I will not be working on this commission anymore. Goodbye. Maybe you can find yourself some other genius who'll be able to satisfy your demands.
I'm on his side on this one. This guy's a fucking idiot.
Hey, young man, please wait! Oh.
Someone's in a bad mood. He is also broke. Counter-argument, he is dirt broke and needs the work. But counter-argument, he does seem to get stable work. like the whole reason he showed up at the end of the Archon quest and started dagging Al-Haytham was because he was away on a business trip and missed all the excitement. Like, he has a steady workflow, and yet he's broke. It's unlike Mona, who just spends all her income on expensive supplies or books. These frivolous purchases. He apparently just he gets scammed. He gives his money to people who say they need it more than him, and it's just like, oh fuck. Now I need money more than me. I don't think Al even charges him for rent.
This commission was truly the worst decision ever.
Hence why before we kind of got a little more hence why before he kind of was allowed to become his own character and he's just attached to Al-Haytham's hip. I actually fucking really hated him because again, like this guy's letting you live there, dude, and you're being kind of a Karen yourself.
Oh, hey, I wasn't expecting to run into you here. Actually, while we're on that, what are you doing here at the tavern? Don't listen to anyone who says that drinking is an elegant pastime. It's no good for your health.
I appreciate the quest now seemingly having more dramatic camera angles, and not just being an awkward POV shot where I'm looking right at them. Not sure if that's a new thing or if it's just an exception for this scene or what, but it's nice. I saw you arguing with the Karen.
So you saw all that, did you? Ugh, I thought I was in the clear. I made sure to double-check that nobody I knew was around. Anyway, thanks for looking out for me. Honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm used to it by now.
The head-on format is out.
Stress is just an inescapable
You
part
just got
of being
hung
a
today,
working
Nate?
adult.
Oh, nice.
Boss, I'll have a glass of
neat.
wine. Same as last time. Do you want something too? I'll put it on my tab.
I have him as well. I have yet to build him because I already just had so many defenders that I fully invested in. But he seems cool.
Wine in a glass of juice, coming right up.
Yo, you
I know
got
you're
hung?
already keeping a secret from me, but if you could add this one to the list as well, I'd really appreciate it. Arguing with a client is not a good look for me. If word gets out,
It's almost
other
like
potential
Arknight's
clients might
code
be
names
afraid to
are
work
kind of
with me.
stupid.
That guy, though.
And it'll lead to some very
What was he
unfortunate
even
discussions
going
out
on
of
about?
context.
All those ridiculous demands of his? He's just a blabbering fool trying to act like a know-it-all.
And now we're back to it, yeah. I get it, but even then, he's not like head on. He's like turned slightly to
Another
the side.
glass, please, boss. I'm not leaving
I was gonna
today
say,
till someone has to carry me out.
Oh no. Stop wasting your money on booze! Save up and move out for the love of God! In the case of Hung, I do actually believe that it's supposed to be Chinese. Like, I believe he's from, furry China. Because I think he works for the same, like, detective agency as, Lee and a bunch of other, like, obviously Chinese-inspired characters.
You've got it, sir. I gotta say, though, it almost feels like you're saying that every other day now.
Yo, man, someone tried to fuck Texas.
It really is every other day that you'd run into a client who knows nothing about construction requirements or architectural style. If this was in the past, I'd never have gone through 6 whole drafts trying to accommodate the client's preferences. But perhaps getting used to this just means that I've grown numb to it. I've worked on so many projects since graduation, and none of them have been approved at the first pass.
Yeah, they're still kind of doing the head-on thing, but it's not, like, it's not ubiquitous, it seems like.
I would spend a lot of time altering my designs, and by the time the clients were finally satisfied, all my passion and enthusiasm would be gone. It feels like I'm straying further and further from my artistic vision with every change I have to make. I suppose, though, that just sticking to your guns and completely disregarding other people's feedback would also not be a good thing. All of this makes for a real paradox, one that particularly crops up in my work, too. In the end, what is the true meaning of art? Should I see it as a divine gift of inspiration from the gods, or an expression of the light of my own wisdom?
I have it on good authority that art is an explosion.
Here's your drink. How are you already spouting nonsense after just one glass? Your tolerance is usually much better than that.
Boss, what do you think is the meaning of art?
I've said it a million times, I like Daedara a lot. Him losing his... had a real mouth on him. He had 3 real mouths on him. I've said before that Daedara's fight with the worst character ever in all of fiction is what made me, like, finally stop reading completely.
The meaning of art.
I appreciate the fact that he actually
really,
does that kind of drama.
My friend, who in Sumeru understands
Also, one second, I got my
art
headphones,
better
so I'm
than
listening.
you?
I gotta
Anyway,
go
I
check
don't
on
know
my,
about art, but
my
I
dryer
do
real quick,
know
'cause something
that
alarm
I'm
might be going off.
interested in business, and some patrons are waiting to be served. So you'll have to excuse me for now. Just holler if you need anything.
What do you think, traveler?
Washer and dryer turned off. I don't know what I thought it was. I'm going crazy. Where's the option that says art is an explosion? Excuse me. Resonates with the masses. Technically, yeah, that's a whole thing. Like making art for yourself versus making art for the public. I think it's important that you start. I think it's important that you start with something you can get behind.
Exactly. So our thoughts on the meaning of art are rather similar. In Sumeru, and especially Sumeru of the past,
I think you need to learn to love your. I think you need to learn to love your own work before you can expect other people to love it.
Trying to talk about the arts is basically the key to killing any conversation. It's too bad that I'm not in my best form today. Otherwise, we could have talked about this for a little longer.
It's okay, I'll sober you up. I'll dump some water on your head. It looks kind of dejected. Should play it safe and make a simple suggestion. I'll help you convince the client to come to your side. Let's do something else to clear your mind. Okay, this is definitely a route split. Any recommendations, Secret? You know me. I like to try and save one of. I like to try to save one of the best, if not the best, one for last. I don't know if there's any convincing that guy. Probably, considering how upset he seemed when he just walked off. But option 2. Okay.
Sounds great to me. I don't even want to think about this project anymore. But what should we do? It's probably not a good idea to just drink until I pass out here.
Looking into another career! I feel like it's way too late for that. I was gonna say, I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna assume Secret did that on accident, but hey, it's alright. Yeah, I don't know how old you are, dude. I will admit that, like, I feel like if you already have your degree in being a fucking architect and are, like, actually getting stable commissions, I feel like it'd be very dumb to try and change to something else. Why'd you decide on architecture?
Huh? Where did that come from? I mean, it's not like it's some kind of secret. You probably already know some bits and pieces of my past.
I'm just making sure you're not
My
an
mother is also an
Ayn Rand
architect.
fan.
I've always adored her drawings, and when I was young, I used to sit next to her and watch her bring all kinds of buildings to life on paper. You could say my interest in architecture just naturally grew with time.
How would she feel about all this?
Perhaps. In fact, I have also seen my mother argue with her clients, but she would always quickly find the motivation to return to her work. Unfortunately, I've barely had any
Happy
contact
Rainbow
with her
Washing
since
Month,
she remarried
everyone!
and moved
That's
abroad.
right, I said it in the Discord earlier, but
Even
happy
if I wanted
Happy
to
Rainbow
ask her
Month,
about her
guys.
ability to stay positive after an argument, it would seem rude to barge into her life again over something as trivial as that. I did remember something else, though. When my mother
God,
left,
it's that gay
she only
guy.
carried some small personal luggage with her.
No,
She
he's
left
just
most of the
Newman.
belongings in the house to me. At the time, she even told me that it would be great if
Not
I could learn
gay.
a few
Tell that to
lessons
the
from her life
fangirls.
experiences, so my life and career could go a little more smoothly. I hadn't quite come to grips with my emotions.
Dude,
and didn't
Kaveh
really have
interacting
it
with
in me to
Yosuke
go
would be
through
goated.
any sentimental items. So I just packed anything with memories away
I'd
in
love
a
to
box
see that
and
conversation.
haven't reopened it since. It's been a really long time. Now that so many years have passed, maybe I have finally developed the maturity I need to face those memories without losing my mind. Yeah, I should dig it out and take a look.
Let me face my fears.
Huh? Sorry, I've had too much to drink and wasn't thinking clearly. You're right. I should do these kinds of things with the support of a friend.
The actress who plays MCU Kamala is a huge comic book nerd and even said to try to explain some Marvel screw-ups. You find funny, despite Kamala being a Carol simp, the actress thought the Captain Marvel movie was pretty mediocre. That doesn't surprise me. Because, you know, like, even if you can get past your dislike of the character, which I probably can't, which I definitely can't, but hey. Like, even people who are, like, more willing to attempt to be endeared by Carol, I have heard nothing but, like, I have heard that at best that movie was okay. Like, I have not heard anybody say it's their favorite Marvel movie. I have not heard anybody say that, oh, it turned me around on Carol or sold me on the idea of Carol. At best, it was alright. Which, not a ringing endorsement.
Speaking of that, I can call you a friend now, right?
On one hand, I do find you a little overly whiny, and I'm really, really sick of the game trying too hard to bait you to be shipped with Al Hatham. On the other hand, in a lot of ways, you are literally me. But then again, I hate myself.
Either way, thanks for reminding me that I can
Fine.
invite you to come along. Had I just gone back by
Fine.
myself, it would have looked like I'm deliberately trying to
I don't
keep
want to
things
break
from
his
you.
widow heart.
Ugh, thinking too hard about the words is giving me a headache, so I'll just give it to you straight. Thanks to your advice, I have decided to put my current projects on pause for now, and spend some time trying to rekindle the passion for my craft.
Plot hole hell. Again, they shot themselves in the foot by trying to retroactively make her this important character that's, like, always been around and always been important throughout the entirety of the DCU, or at least a good chunk of it. DCU. MCU. Not DC. I'm sorry. I think of Captain Marvel and I think of DC for some reason. Almost like that's where it should be. Weird. But yeah, no, like, if they had just, like, fucking held their goddamn horses and waited to do stuff with her until after Endgame, and, like, tried to make her the new figurehead and make her the new, like, Captain America, the new rallying figure, this paragon of good that everybody could get behind, you may have had something there, because we definitely need a new character like that. The kind of aimless direction of the movie since then speaks volumes to that, I think. But nope, they just got a little too greedy.
If you want to stick around and see how this will turn out, you'll be sure to encounter some bits and pieces of my past. Do you think you'd find that too boring?
Nah, it's fine. Go for an ending called Beneath the Stars. Okay.
All right, then let's head back together. I mean, you already know where I live.
You're just like me, which means you're shit!
Who knew that the day would come when I, too, would have some friends over? Let me see. I should have tidied up the place before I left the house this morning. Alhaitham shouldn't be home now either. He's usually in the records room at this time of the day.
Yeah, exact same deal, Ara, yeah. Like, I hated Endgame so much that I've basically sworn off of them. I saw Spider-Man because I wanted to see my, my boys again. From the Raimi trilogy. But, yeah, no, I can't do it anymore.
Anyway, there's no more time
I'm
for
just
drinks.
checked out.
I'll go take care of the bill.
The fucking objective, go home with Kaveh. Oh my. Teehee teehee, twirls hair. Be slightly faster. This way.
Alhaitham isn't in, so feel free to sit wherever. I'll bring out the box.
In your case, it's just tradition. That's fair. Again, I did too. Like, I went to see every comic book movie, even ones I wasn't that excited about. So much so that even my grandma enjoyed a lot of them. I think I've mentioned before, she's a huge X-Men fan, actually.
Oh, nothing. I just didn't realize how much time had passed. The box is pretty dusty, which means it's already been a while since I've moved into this place, and many years since my mother moved to Fontaine. I'm happy for her. I hope she'll be able to find happiness there. She raised me all by herself after my father passed away. It definitely wasn't easy for her. Anyway, enough about that. Let's see what I packed into this box. What are all these things?
That's a drawing.
Oh, I remember now. This is a drawing I made in Port Ormos. Obviously, I wouldn't call it anything special now, but I was less than 5 years old when I made this drawing. That's more than 20 years ago. You could say it's pretty good for a child of that age. Now that I've said that out loud, I suppose I do have some level of artistic talent, right?
You don't sound too confident there, champ.
Criticism and self-doubt have always been a part of the artistic process.
Boy, you're telling me!
Without criticism, there can be no improvement. It's normal for me to question my abilities from time to time. I admit that I may have spent a little too long questioning myself this time around, but as you know, the heart tends to dwell on whatever it pleases. Anyway, never mind. The more I talk about it, the less confident I feel. Let's see what else we have in the box. Ah, my building blocks! It's been years since I've last
Kaveh is
seen
at least
these.
25 years old.
When I was a kid, I used to stack them super high, and could even stabilize the tower to keep it from tumbling over. Oh, and this blueprint. I made it by copying my mother's sketch, and the aspect ratio was horrendous.
It hides my pain
It's
fine.
still technically the first blueprint I made myself, though. I was super proud of myself when I finished it, and put it in the same pile as my mother's sketches, hoping she'd notice and compliment me for my good work. Unfortunately, my mother didn't realize that I had put it there. When she had a meeting with a client the next day, she handed my blueprint to him by mistake. The client was completely confused by this new blueprint, but apparently he felt too tongue-tied to question such a famous architect. It was only a few days later that he finally gathered up the courage to pay my mother a visit. He asked, "The door in this blueprint is even taller than the roof. Is this supposed to be part of the design?" My mother took me with her to personally apologize to the client several times. She didn't scold me about it in private, though. Instead, she went over all the steps required to draw a good blueprint and was very patient throughout the whole process. I still remember it like it was yesterday. Let's see. Is there anything else left in this box? Huh. What was this again?
Notebook?
Ah, this is my mother's notebook. She used to write and sketch in it all the time. When I was a child, I used to be super fascinated by this notebook, and always pestered my mother to let me read it. After asking her a few times, she told me that I could read it as long as I could guess the password. Huh. Wonder why she didn't take this notebook with her. Did she leave it to me on purpose?
Fucking look at it!
If only I could. I never managed to guess the password.
8675309.
Hey, it's not a matter of time, it's a matter of inspiration. That's what we need to guess the password. Who knows? Maybe this time something will click in my head, and the answer will just present itself. Let me think. What could it be?
11037. How about your name?
I could tell what you were thinking. Don't worry, I tried all the easy guesses a long time ago. I've tried my name, my father's name, my mother's name, my grandparents' names on both sides, and all of our birthdays. I've tried every name and number remotely related to my family.
Yo, Golem Ricky.
I've even tried stuff like Love You Kaveh, Take Care, and Yours Truly. I've tried every cheesy phrase and well-wish in the book, but this lock has refused to budge. I wouldn't try that route again. I have a hunch that it won't be that simple. Also, if she really did use something like that, she'd never hear the end of it from the folks over at Haravatat if they ever found out.
Don't worry about it then.
Yeah, you're right. Although I was hoping to find some words of wisdom from my mother, if I stop and think about it, her words may not be the advice that I need to hear right at this moment. Everyone's life journey is different. Traveler, you've visited many lands and met many people, so I'm sure you've run into situations where some advice wasn't exactly suitable for the situation at hand. Ah, I just got an idea though. If I want to rekindle the creative passion that I had before, instead of trying to unlock an old notebook, why don't I take a walk around the parts of town that had changed my life? What do you think?
The men's bathroom. Sounds good to me.
I'm glad you agree. Then let's start by taking a quick stroll around the academia.
That's where I first met Al. According to Twitter. Oh no, it's another episode of Sumeru is way too vertical for its own good. Crediting your theory to Twitter, my bad. Oh, 1 second. What do you want? Don't tell me your life story, shut up. I just saw that I happened to pass a commission. I don't know what you want and I don't care. Shush. Stop talking. Thank you, goodbye. Where's Yamato?
Quit following me.
On the face of every child, on the smile of every baby. Oh my god, I could've just teleported there. I hate Sumeru. Sumeru was pretty good story-wise, but god damn it, I hate navigating it. It's way too vertical. I can never tell what's on what layer. Whatever.
Behold!
Behold! Flying in the library!
Quit following me. Of all the places in the academia, I remember this one most. When my studies got busy, I used to pull all-nighters here trying to finish my blueprints. Who doesn't miss their time at the academia? Life was a lot simpler then, and we all had far less
everybody
troubles.
loves the time they
I created
spent
many
in school.
designs
Looks
that I
back
thought
on
were
it
beautiful
fondly.
in the House of Dana. I drew whatever came to mind, since I didn't have to care about budget constraints or turning them into reality.
Why'd you draw a dick butt? I mean, the House of Dina.
If I had to give a reason, it'd probably be because I like the ambiance here. The academia also had a rule that allowed scholars to annotate any physical books they came across. As a result, the books here are chock full of scholars' wisdom across many generations.
At some point, I need to read 3 books in this library for a hidden achievement once it lets me move around. Does this count as moving around? Also, sorry, looks like my internet freaked out for a second there. Considering he's waiting for me, I'm guessing later. I can move a little more freely.
Oh, here, this is a great example. This book, History of Ancient Sumeru Architecture, contains some analysis that I did many years ago. Huh? Why is Alhatham's handwriting also in here? When did he ever read this book? I guess it's probably from when we worked on that research project together. Anyway, he probably never cared to tell you this, but the House of Dana is where Alhatham and I first met. I came here to do my homework, and saw him sitting by himself next to that row of bookshelves. A group of Haravatat scholars were chatting near him, but he looked as if he was too lazy to join them. There was a pretty stark difference between him and all the rest of them. It was my fault for feeling bad for him. I thought he must have gotten into some kind of trouble and went over to ask if he needed anything, not realizing that...
Not realizing that you were in fact the one in a whole heap of trouble?
Oh, god damn it, go away! I love you, but god damn it!
Alhatham? Why are you here?
He turns into a different character anytime you're around, and I hate it.
Space. Anyone can come here, no?
But shouldn't you be at the records room at this hour? You're not here to watch me make a fool of myself, are you?
Dude, he had no way of knowing you're gonna be here. Stop!
You think I would derive amusement from watching you fall into depression over your life's various troubles? If that's the case, then I suppose I must have been entertaining myself for years. I came here to pick up a few files. If your voice hadn't managed to get through my soundproof earpieces, I probably wouldn't have noticed you.
Oh my god, Fusion, those actually are noise-canceling headphones. We've talked about this before. I didn't know we were trying to figure some stuff out about Al. And I think you asked about the big headphones. Oh man. Yeah, Al's definitely yeah.
All right. I admit I was probably overreacting just now.
You're always overreacting when it involves him. I repeat. Anti-Kaveh AirPods. Oh god, he's got his AirPods and he can't hear us! I want to know what happened next.
Probably not when he's right here with us. As his senior, I shouldn't try to tarnish his reputation.
There was nothing embarrassing or shameful about it. When I was still a student at the academia, I once collaborated with Kaveh on a research project. A collaboration is usually beneficial for all parties, but due to issues with our personalities, we ended up going our separate ways before completing the project.
Let the man breathe on his own. Kaveh's a good character. You don't gotta fucking shackle him down to another character and have his entire fucking life and every aspect of his personality revolve around him whenever they're in the same room together, or sometimes even not when they're in the same room together.
We had a number of differences, and they remain unresolved even today. But there's no point going into that right now. The more important question is, why are you at the House of Dana?
He's having a bad day, okay?
As a senior scholar, isn't it my responsibility to offer my friend a quick tour and explanation of the Academia's architecture?
I see. Then let me guess. Your next stop will be the pavilions around Razan Garden? Our famed architect sure loves showing off that corner to all his friends. Oh, and Kaveh. A lot of the books you annotated have been moved to the innermost section of that bookshelf over there. You'll have to dig them out yourself if you need to find them.
Huh? But why would you know that? Don't tell me you finally had an epiphany and realized that there's great virtue in respecting your elders' work.
Sure, if that will give you some self-confidence.
If that'll make you grow a pair, you think whatever you want.
Leave any words of thanks you may have to the ex-Grand Conservator. The last time he was here, he was complaining that he had received reports from current students. The main grievance being that the annotations are too long and difficult to read. As a result, the books you annotated have been moved to the back shelves.
What? But all of my annotations were extremely important. Instead of reporting me, they should have been thanking me for my service. The notes that I took, they couldn't have asked for a better analysis of those books.
Well, they
Okay,
didn't
just
ask.
you wait. I'm going to fix this right now. I'll dig all the books out and return them to the proper shelves.
Bruh.
Oh, we'll wait.
That's about all I can do.
Anyway, you were about to say he's feeling a bit down?
Just a bit. He had a Karen.
Put through the ringer. What an interesting phrase. I assume he used those exact words himself?
Nah, I saw it go down, dude. The guy was actually an asshole.
He probably did suffer quite a bit, that's true. He always spends a lot of time editing his proposals, with the goal of satisfying as many of the client's preferences as possible.
Cap it. Excellent.
But the satisfaction of one client will not translate to general satisfaction with his work. Many problems in life can only be solved by a fundamental change of attitude. As the leading genius of Ksharawar, Kaveh should have both the right and the confidence to reject any unreasonable demands. There are plenty of architects in Sumeru who are inferior to him in skill, yet far more irascible in temperament. What's more, there are plenty of people who look up to such individuals as paragons of staying true to one's principles.
So, once again, the problem is, he's too nice.
Clearly, his predicament is inevitable, since he holds other people's feelings as more important than his own. Of course, each person is different, and we should respect the paths that they have chosen for themselves. Admonitions will serve no purpose. People tend to succumb to familiar pitfalls, and this is especially true for those who believe it's their duty to carry more burdens on their shoulders.
Which game will get the option to S rank first? Genshin or Star Rail? It should be Genshin, considering this game's been out for going on 3 years. And that seems like such an obvious thing to make more people play / spend money. But again, given the fact that any suggestions / recommendations people have for improvement with this game seem to be going to Star Rail instead, I'm gonna bet on Star Rail. S rank, Jedi, I know! Bad! Bad! Right to the moon! Do not touch my baby!
Looks like you were having an enjoyable chat while I was gone. Were you talking about me by any chance?
What do you think?
What else is there to talk about? Surely no one would be interested in talking about the files that you were browsing through earlier.
And now we're in jail.
Anyway, you should take a look at this. Look at this comment on page 82. Dear Kaveh, thank you so much for annotating this book in such detail. It was a great help to me.
S ranking a child character as adoption, that's fine.
See that? Now that's how a student should treat their seniors.
And it looks like you're already in a much better mood now. It really doesn't take much to make you happy, huh?
Me happy? I'm mocking that retired blockhead for being so full of himself. He understands nothing about the true beauty of architecture. When I can find some time, I'll have a serious talk with him about making sure these books are put where they belong.
Thank you, Fuchsia.
Why don't you just move all the books yourself? It's not like he hasn't pushed you out before. What was that nickname he gave you while you were in the academia? The Urchin of Kasharwar?
Oh my god. Can't help but be reminded of how confused people may be when they know Al the Scholar and find Sue the Buddhist Peacock Doctor. I was just thinking about that. Al, for the record, I don't want people to think I hate Al because I keep telling him to shoo. It's just because of, like, the bad way they write Kaveh when he's around. I love Al, and I'm reminded of just how much I love Al right now. Good God, I'm so glad that Al's here, and not the shitty female Sue that's in Hawkeye Impact storyline right now, who I literally don't give two shits about, and needs to shut the fuck up along with most other people in the current main story arc.
Kaveh had a habit of scribbling and writing in all kinds of books.
Hey!
After this, I can read the
Didn't
books.
need to bring that up. At least not when I'm still standing here. Oh, actually, I also found a really old sketch in one of the books over there. See? Doesn't it remind you of something?
A dick butt? Let's go with that. Oh, I know she's probably the evil female Sue that's buried under wherever the hell that bit of lore was. I don't care. I literally don't care what her deal is or what she's up to. Her. Sorry, I'm trying to find my place in the guide. Oh, bridge.
Huh? Don't tell me even you don't get it.
Would help if I could have actually seen what we're looking at.
Don't ask me. This is the time you specifically put aside to brag about yourself. Feel free to hoard all the spotlight you want.
You? In that case, allow me to explain. Although this sketch is a little abstract,
Exactly
you can
right,
plainly
Cameron.
see
Yeah,
from the
I was gonna
road
say
plans
it.
that this was an original concept for the expansion of Port
Like, I felt
Ormos.
dumb having to look up a guide.
We can
Look at the
also
guide for that,
plainly
but
see that the
also
designer was a huge
I don't know
fan
what you're
of this
showing me.
project. It's the project he loves to talk about the most, second to the Palace of Alcazarzare.
If I don't keep bringing up the neat projects that I've done, how would anyone know that I was the one who did them in the first place? There shouldn't be any complaints about Port Ormos. If I remember correctly, the construction process was very smooth, everything was made ready ahead of time, and there were very few safety concerns.
There are indeed no records of any complaints about this project. A most impressive achievement.
See? What did I tell you? Come on, let's take a stroll through Port Ormos next. I'll tell you all about the designs I made for the place.
please don't tell me you're coming too.
No need. It's
Thank
almost
God.
time to clock out for the day, and I don't intend on bringing any unfinished work home.
Suit yourself. It's not like you know how to appreciate artistry anyway. Let's go, traveler. I'll take you to Port Ormos.
It's not like I wanted you to come to or anything. Baka.
The wind rises.
Well, that was unnecessary. Oh shit! I forgot. I completely forgot secret. Oh well.
Port Ormos.
It's fine. Did you design something here?
No, I didn't design any one specific building. Most of my work here concerned structural renovation.
Oh no, I missed out
Port
on
Ormos
5
had
primo
already
gems.
existed since I was still a young child. It wasn't as large as it is now, though. It only came to its current size after a sizable expansion.
Yeah,
I was part of that project. The arch bridge over there, for example. That was one of my designs.
I'm so, again, the bright side of kind of getting sick of a lot of stuff in this game and not playing it as much. I'm less inclined to micromanage. Like I have not even attempted to do floor 12 of the Abyss for like the last 2 months, and I couldn't be happier with myself. It's like, oh, I'm missing out on at least 50 extra gems because I could usually I could at least 6-star it. It's 9-star in it. I have a problem with doing consistently. But just fuck it. Don't even care.
When I was first tasked with the project, I decided to reference the growth patterns of nearby
Get my
trees
easy
to split Port
450, get
Ormos
out.
into 2 levels. My goal was to improve the overall utilization of space. We ran into a lot of issues during construction, but thankfully, we were still able to achieve the original vision. Residents can now behold all the ships entering and leaving
got
the harbor
Xiangling.
from the
It's
vantage
helpful.
point of the bridge, while visitors can recognize the site of Port
It's helpful to
Ormos
get
from
some
a
extra
long ways
currency.
away. I was still young and new to the trade back then. I could hardly believe that an idea in my head could become reality and remain in the world
Why
for
would
many
Bon
years to
Clay
come.
be?
The true cornerstone of the
Why
creative
would Buggy and
process.
Bon Clay be
The
Ken
point
and
about the
Barbie?
design that will be ultimately used to judge its true worth.
The hell?
It was the first time that it became crystal clear in my mind.
Those two
Once
characters
built,
ever
the
even
building
met?
will continue to stand. Countless people will see it.
Don't answer
and
that. I
countless
guess they
more
actually
will
might
step
have.
inside it. Its final worth, whether it's good or bad, will be assessed by the countless generations of people that interact with the building during their lives. You think so? I'm glad to hear that.
Yo, Max
But
Affection.
even with this project, I still had one small regret. My budget was tight, and I was unable to use
don't
the
think that
higher
actually means
quality
anything, but
timber I
hey.
had originally intended for the design. I knew that some concessions on aesthetics would be needed as soon as I agreed to a proposal that prioritized the practical functions of the project. Us creative types know better than anyone that most projects cannot be completed without a few regrets. Even the Palace of Alcazarzaray was not perfect. Yeah, you're right. I should learn to look toward future opportunities and believe that any regrets I have can be overcome in time. We've spent long enough here. There's still one last place I want to go, but it's a little far. Would you be interested in a quick trip to the desert?
We've been here for like 5 minutes, my dude. I don't know how you're sick of it already, but sure, I don't mind.
Great. Most of my projects over the last few years have had something to do with the desert, partially because there's a special place there that I often visit. This is a rare opportunity, so why don't you come along and see it for yourself? If you ever feel down, maybe you'll be able to go there and feel better too. Who would have thought that so many primal constructs could have congregated here while I was gone? We won't be able to sit and talk peacefully with these guys around. Let's clear the area.
Oh god.
Come at me!
Snuck up on me there.
Know your place.
Hold the line!
I still don't know how to feel about him literally stepping on you for his ult.
Isn't this place great? I
Little
often come here
sus.
to clear my mind when I'm dealing with a difficult situation. You know what I mean. Everyone finds themselves in frustrating situations once in a while. Just take me as an example. My family life got shaken up quite a bit when I was young. I struggled in school, and I got into a huge pile of debt building the Palace of Alcazarzaray. Although Alhaitham thinks that it's because of my personality that I continue to live in the shadow of the past, I think it's also just a part of life. Plus, if I look back,
Also,
I've
it's
honestly
suddenly
had my
nighttime.
fair share of good luck as well. You could probably say I followed in the path of my mother. Like her, I've gained a name for myself as an architect, built something that's seen as my magnum opus, and found many projects that others have entrusted to me to finish.
I wonder what the world inside a prison looks like. Your life has been a damn disaster. If you can't do the Bakami time, don't do the Bakami crime. What the fuck? because Yuji Naka's going to jail. That's right. Ah!
Life is too boring when you live with no
Get
enthusiasm
wrecked.
and passion. Only those who believe in the inherent meaning of it can capture the small nuances of everyday life and turn them into inspiration for
Then again,
beautiful
wasn't he
designs.
stealing from Square Enix?
Of course, I will concede that loving something also means taking it to heart. So to an extent, caring is also a source of pain. If I didn't love my work, I wouldn't be so torn up about it all the time. But still, isn't this place beautiful? Despite the erosion from the winds and changing seasons,
Insider
I can still
trading, is that a
perceive its
crime?
past beauty and
I
glory.
thought that was business.
With different landforms come different architectural styles. The desert's history has left it with few records regarding its buildings, so I often visit the desert to investigate things in person. The sight here has moved me ever since the first time I laid my eyes on it. I told myself that one day, I would also be able to create buildings that move others. My pain will one day fade into nothing, just as I reach the end of my life. But buildings are different.
Stealing
They are
is
far
wrong,
more
unless it's from
valuable
Square
than
Enix,
most
then it's okay.
materialistic things, and far more durable than human flesh. As long as there remain souls in the world who can decipher the meaning behind them, they will also have acknowledged me across the vast stream of time. If you were to ask me what art is, that would be my answer.
That's the Kaveh I know and tolerate.
You think so? But I feel I've always been like this. Remember that question I brought up before? The one about whether I should see art as a divine gift of inspiration from the gods,
private to people in higher
or as a
positions to
product of
calculate when
my
to buy
own
and sell
existential
stocks.
struggle.
Ah, okay.
I
Yeah, that
still
is
haven't
illegal.
found an answer to that yet. But if art wasn't inherently paradoxical and enigmatic, then people probably wouldn't be drawn to it. Those who pursue art will be unable to avoid the pain that it naturally brings. Will often be floating on cloud 9 one second and sinking in a mire the next. I'll try gathering my thoughts again once I've found a way to define art in the first place. In any case, thank you so much for listening to everything I had to say.
Hey! If you don't feel like we actually solved any of your problems, that's probably one of the worst endings. But, keep that anyway. No problem, Kaveh. Just don't start talking about Al. If you don't start talking about Al, we're golden, baby. What's Genshin gambling, JC? I mean, no gambling, thank God. Thank God I got Kirara on 2 singles, so I'm actually safe to not gamble in this game for 2 whole patches, basically. Since we're getting another filler patch before Fontaine. The done deal ending. Okay. Oh God, are we gonna start at the tavern? Are we gonna get crunk with Kaveh? Is that a thing that we can do? I still haven't done all the mini games. I gotta do that. Need to refrain from gushes for a while. Oh yeah. I was very sorry to hear about that. Losing a job you had for that long, that's awful. Yeah, understandable. That'd be something to cut back on.
Taking this commission was truly the worst decision ever. Oh, hey. I wasn't expecting to run into you here. Actually, while we're on that, what are you doing here at the tavern? Don't listen to anyone who says that drinking is an elegant pastime. It's no good for your health.
I followed you here.
So you saw
Should be
that,
fine for
did
2 or
you?
3 months, so no harm, no foul.
I
Yeah.
thought I was in the clear. I made sure to double check that nobody I knew was around. Anyway, thanks for looking out for me.
Yeah, I hope you're able to
Honestly,
get
it
something,
wasn't that
something
big of a
sorted
deal.
out by then.
I'm used to it by now. Stress is just an inescapable part of being a working adult. Boss, I'll have a glass of wine. Same as last time. Do you want something too? I'll put it on my tab.
Wine in a glass of juice, coming right up.
I know you're already keeping a secret from me, but if you could add this one to the list as well, I'd really appreciate it. Arguing with a client is not a good look for me. If word gets out, other potential clients might be afraid to work with me. That guy, though, what was he even going on about? All those ridiculous demands of his? He's just a blabbering fool trying to act like a know-it-all. Another glass, please,
Loose lips
boss.
think chips, sir.
I'm not leaving today till someone has to carry me out.
You've got it, sir.
God.
I gotta
Don't
say, though,
encourage
it
his
almost
alcoholism.
Feels like you're saying that every other day now.
Sakura's
It
gonna be
really
about
is
writing, and he
every other
states
day
that
you'd run into a client
winning
who knows
the battle that
nothing
you
about
lose in a cutscene
construction
isn't
requirements or
enjoyable, so he knows about
architectural
Xenoblade
style.
2.
If this
Sakura,
was
I
in the
get it.
past, I'd never have gone through
Sakura is
6
a
whole
very smart
drafts
man.
trying to accommodate the client's preferences. But perhaps getting used to this just means that I've grown numb to it. I've worked on so many projects since graduation, and none of them have been approved
Buff
at the
bartender
first
Blanca.
pass.
Oh yeah, NPCs are
I would
allowed to
spend
be
a
buff
lot
in
of
this
time
game.
altering my designs, and by
Just
the
not
time the
playable
clients
characters.
were finally satisfied, all my passion and enthusiasm would be gone. It feels like I'm straying further and further from my artistic vision with every change I have to make. I suppose, though, that just sticking to your guns and completely disregarding other
I will
people's
start trying
feedback
to skim the text
would also
anytime
not be a
I
good
recognize
thing.
dialogue, but
All of this makes for a real paradox, one that particularly crops up in my work, too. In the end, what is the true meaning of art? Should I see it as a divine gift of inspiration from the gods? Or an expression of the light of my own wisdom?
Here's your drink.
relatable.
How are you already spouting nonsense after just one glass? Your tolerance is usually much better than that.
I'm very
Boss,
emotional today,
What
okay?
do you think is the meaning of art?
The meaning of art? Really, my friend, who in Sumeru understands art better than you?
Sir,
Anyway,
I don't get paid
know
to give
about
you
art,
personal
but
advice.
I do know that I'm interested in business, and
I just
some
work here.
patrons are waiting to be served. So you'll have to excuse me for now. Just holler if you need anything.
Besides
What
life
do you
advice,
think, traveler?
I think you should learn my name. I got nothing, my dude. Something that resonates with the masses.
Yes, art shouldn't be self-indulgent entertainment saved for the elite. Let's say that I built a house for
One or
someone.
two glasses of wine.
If
Oh,
they don't
okay,
like how
secret.
it
Well, that's
looks,
fun.
then no matter how brilliant it may appear to me, they won't be happy with it.
Ain't nothing wrong with
The
it.
problem
Ain't nothing
is
wrong
that
with
it
a
can
glass
be very
of wine.
difficult to get validated by others. I could compromise my personal
I've just been
standards to
scarred for
accommodate
life
my
and never want to
clients,
find out what kind of
but
drunk
often
I am.
that just means creating a final
Or how
product
high my
that I would
tolerance
struggle
is.
to look at.
It looks dejected. A line. Let's say if I make a simple suggestion. I'll help you. I'll help you talk to the Karen.
Thanks for offering, but you've seen how he is. He's not going to listen to anything I say. He understands nothing about my design, and all the suggestions he made were as if he just wanted to mock me.
I don't think he was intentionally being an asshole. I think he's just stupid and doesn't know how architecture works.
Okay, it is possible that I was just jaded by my frustration. Well, given I'm already on my 6th draft, I can probably push myself to make a 7th. Let's go have another talk with him. I know where we'd be able to find the guy. There's no time to waste. The wine can wait until another time. I'll go take care of the bill.
Oh God! Again, when you think about us actually having to walk to these places sometimes. Jesus Christ.
Kaveh, what are you doing here?
I've changed my mind. I was overreacting earlier.
I remembered that I
Can we
need
try
money.
discussing the project some more?
My apologies as well. Now that I think about it, some of my requests were indeed a bit unreasonable. If I choose
the
you to
Fujoshi
create
heavy?
the design
Only
for
when
my
Al
project,
Hatham's in the same
I
scene.
should have a bit more faith in your vision.
So long as he's on his own, he's
Thank
fine.
you for understanding. mutual trust is the basis for good communication.
Except for the random
Now that
times
we've
where they
got that
insist
out
on
of the
him
way,
bringing him up anyway.
I think we can
but
have a more productive
that's
conversation.
been at a minimum.
To be perfectly honest,
for
your
these
commission
thus far.
request has been the most peculiar one I've ever received. Even now, I still know nothing about the building's intended purpose.
Shoji.
All I know is that you want to build something in the desert for public use. I am aware that overly specific requests will restrain the architect's artistic freedom. However, knowing nothing about the intended purpose of the building also means I have no idea if I'm on the right track.
I'm building a
I've
Chuck E.
produced several
Cheese.
draft proposals for you to choose from, and you've rejected every single one. If we don't get on the same page, it could be a decade before we can finally break ground on this project.
Yes, I've given this some thought already. I think we can go with the general direction of the latest proposal that you just showed me. It's just...
Just what?
Putting the building design aside, can we get some less expensive materials for the floor tiles?
Dude, you are thinking
I know
way
someone in the
too
business,
far
and
ahead.
The red bricks he sells can go for pretty cheap.
Yeah, I think this guy's just kind of an idiot. Like, dude, if you can't even agree on what the goddamn thing's gonna look like even the general structure of it, apparently, why the fuck are you thinking about the materials? Never mind the quality of materials. Dude.
The timber here as well. We should be able to find some substitutes.
Please give me a moment. My
Yeah.
head's starting to hurt again. Just please hold on for a second.
Yeah, like, I'm not an architect, but you're skipping some steps, my dude.
So, let me get this straight. You want to reduce the cost of the project, right? But if we implement your suggestions, then I'm afraid we have to scrap the entire design. Architectural design cannot be neatly split into discrete parts. Any change to one part of the design will affect the quality of the whole thing. I decided to utilize high-end timber for this section
You took
because
classes
the
for this,
weight-bearing
Ninja? Ooh,
structure
neat.
requires the
It's
supporting
making you
materials to be
agree.
durable and strong.
I don't know shit about architecture. It's making me scream.
Same with the tiles. Switch them out and the entire mural will have to be redesigned. More importantly, if we make such a change, both its practical functionality and aesthetic value will take a great hit.
Again, he didn't fucking agree with the design anyway.
If all you need is a building with a roof that can keep people dry in the rain, you shouldn't have commissioned me. Many architects would be able to build you one of those while charging far less in commission fees.
Actually, Please tell me, are you absolutely sure that there's no room for any changes in this draft of the design?
I don't know, dude. How about you fucking tell him what we're even building? Is it a Chuck E. Cheese? Is it a homeless shelter? What are we working on? I don't want to build Disneyland and then find out it's a fucking Casa Bonita. Okay? What am I making?
I think the most important thing for me is to understand what you would actually like to get.
Thank you!
If you could tell me more about your vision, I might be able to work with the design some more. You are the client, after all. You
Chuck
should
E.
have the
Cheese
final say
and
on how the
homeless
project turns
shelter.
out.
I want to build something unique. Something quiet and warm inside. A refuge that can block out the world outside.
You want to build a sensory deprivation chamber? Alright, fucking evil person. You were thinking between architect and programmer when you were choosing a career, ended up with programming, but you still think maybe? It seems interesting. Matter of sticking your precise design to the draft, working in cohesion to it. What the fuck do you want, you old fuck, right? Like, I don't understand how he even took this project in the first place. Motherfucker won't even let you tell you what he's fucking trying to build.
I want all who enter this building to be able to temporarily forget everything that's going on outside of the building and just focus on their task at hand.
So a Chuck E. Cheese, got it. A library?
That's a bit more information than last time.
Yeah.
But it's still extremely vague. To put it another way, every rich person who wants to build a mansion for
What I believe
themselves
there's-
would request something like this.
Disney live remakes? And didn't know they existed? Probably. Oh, sure, let me just build this philosophical concept. Do you? Tell me you fuck, right? Like what he said. Like, that's at least something to go off of, but like, still, what is this? Is it a public place that anyone can just go into? Is it a business? What are you cooking?
We've gone through many proposals, and this draft is already the cheapest one. Cutting costs by substituting building materials will not only detract from the overall effect of the building, it also won't save you much more in the grand scheme of things.
Thank you for giving it so much thought. Please, give me some more time to mull over the budget. I'll get back to you once I've figured out a solution. I still have a few business meetings that I must attend, so I'm afraid I'll have to leave for now. You can just leave the proposal as is. I'll get in touch once I've given it some more thought.
Lady the Tramp is one. Oh god, how does that work? This is he's either a complete fucking moron or he's up to something sus.
I also have a similar feeling.
I'm gonna follow him. I'm gonna follow him and see if he's trying to start like a doobie trading building or something. Like a building where people just come go in and trade doobies all day.
Is that really okay? I mean, what he does now is none of our business.
I'm making it my business. I need to understand what the fuck is wrong with this man.
He does seem really suspicious, though. He dresses like a rich person, but when you talk to him, he hardly sounds the part.
That's most rich people. Is that what you're thinking about, Neo? That'd be awesome. But the universities do require you to live on your own, so you compromise with civil engineering. Oh yeah. Why is that such a? I guess that's just a common thing with like non-community colleges these days. Is them fucking requiring you to live on campus? That's really messed up. Like I don't know. I know that it apparently has something to do with like retention rates and like people not dropping out, but like good god. I cannot imagine paying a shit ton of extra money to live on campus, especially when I live like 20 minutes away from the actual building and have a car. Like, no. Absolutely not.
That's actually pretty common. Not all rich people are spendthrifts. Many are just, as if not more, stingy than him. The more mora some people have, the more they love interfering with people's lives.
Super 17 is getting a is
debts,
all around top
or hinting
grossing
every other day that it's time
in
for
the
you
country
to pay
of
rent.
Macau. I didn't even know that was a country. Never mind that they played Dokkan.
Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not even sure this person really wants to work on this project with me. Putting his vague requests aside, he's still finding excuses to procrastinate even when we've decided on a plan. Who knows how long construction will take if he keeps delaying things like this? We should find him again and get some clearer answers. The sooner we can break ground on this, the better.
Epstein Mansion. No worries, I actually don't get the joke, because I live under a rock.
Huh? Where did he go? I could have sworn he went this way.
Sus.
Let's keep looking.
Oh, since we're in spy mode. FBI, open up!
Oh, hey, look! Isn't that Badawi? It sure looks like him, but he's dressed completely different now. What is he up to?
Didn't I tell you before? I'm not looking for more workers. Plus, aren't you a bit old for physical labor? If something happens to you, I won't be able to pay for it.
Oh, you won't have to worry about that. I grew up as an Eremite mercenary and worked in the desert my entire life. My body's still in great shape.
Yeah, you worked in the desert your entire life. I can tell from your natural tan.
I don't have many talents, but I still have my muscle. If you need someone to unload goods or drive away sumpter beasts, I'm your man.
I need you all to think about all of the attractive characters in this game, male or female, don't matter. I need you all to think about all of the attractive characters in this game who could have had boob windows and lament the fact that they gave one to this asshole instead. Pain. Pain and loneliness.
You used to be an Eremite mercenary?
I know there are a lot of bad apples in our ranks, but most are just trying to make a living. We're not that greedy by nature, and we'll do our best when given a job.
Let me think.
Architect Stream is
I'm
the civil
sorry,
engineer's
but
worst
I
nightmare.
still can't
That's
take
funny.
you in. I don't have any open positions right now.
Ayato
and don't
could
have
have had
the
a
Mora
boob
for
window.
anything more. How about this? Why don't you try your luck somewhere else?
Okay.
He used to be a member of the Eremites? Huh. From the way he was dressed, I would have thought he was a merchant from the rainforest.
He's lying!
Let's
you
ask
know,
him
like a
about it.
liar. Oh, there's her. I don't want to talk to him. I think we should keep following him. I'd be curious if he changes outfits and his backstory again. What's up, motherfucker?
We meet again.
Huh? Why are you guys here?
That's what we wanted to ask you. Who are you? Why did you dress up like a merchant to talk to me about our project? There's no need for us to continue this project if you still want to keep hiding things from us. I don't work with individuals I can't trust.
Believe me, I didn't have any bad intentions. It's just... All right, there's no point hiding anything anymore. The building I'm trying to commission you for is not really a personal residence for me.
Oh,
But
hey!
rather a library for children living in the desert.
One, I guessed right. Two, literally, why the fuck would you hide that?
A library? Funded entirely by yourself? Shouldn't this be the responsibility of the academia?
The academia don't care about the desert area, man. I mean, they kind of do now that the whole tumult with Nahida is settled, but...
I've heard that the academia will be looking to prioritize the desert with the allocation of educational resources and materials. It sent over a large shipment of regular goods just last month.
Kaveh, honey, red tape. Red tape. They ain't gonna actually be able to build anything on that level for a hot minute.
You're right. And I was aware of these happenings as well. I just figured what I want to do is a separate effort from what's already being done by the academia.
That's not illegal, dude, so why did you hide it?
The desert is too vast. Even if the academia spends a lot of effort trying to disseminate knowledge in those parts,
Also,
it might
I
still
must
take
save
decades,
the
if not
children.
centuries, to reduce the educational gap that already exists between the two regions. And what's more, I don't know if the academia would ever reverse its stance in the future. All I know is that as a desert dweller, we should not wait passively for good things to happen to us. If we only did that, we'd never be able to stand up and hold our heads high.
I'm sorry, I can't get... If this is the truth this time, I can't get over him actually being from the desert. Why are you white?
I don't have much longer left on this world, so I just want to use whatever time I have to contribute something to my homeland.
Why are you white? Oh, but the new Twitter account already have 1K. Very nice. Why didn't you just fucking tell us this? I repeat, like, it's not illegal to want to do that. I can't just ask people why they're white. Yes, I can. I'm white. I have a whitey pass.
I didn't want you to know that I came from the desert. I've lived in the desert my entire life, and there wasn't anyone here that I could trust. I figured I needed as much
Sorry.
safety as I could get.
I know. You were quoting Mean Girls. It's fine.
To the point that you even disguised your identity? That's certainly taking playing it safe to the next level. Hold on. Don't tell me you've also been scammed before.
My brother!
When I first came to Sumeru's city, I brought a lot of Mora, hoping to find an architect that I could work with.
What's Mean Girls? A early 2000s comedy starring Lindsay Lohan about a, yeah, oh dear Neo. About a nerdy girl who transfers after living in, Africa with her family abroad for a couple of years. Starts going to regular high school and is, accosted by all the hardships that come with regular high school.
Someone agreed to take on the project, and even took a sum of Mora from me, but then disappeared without a trace. After that, I heard that there are a lot of untrustworthy people in this business. Some would run as soon as they've been paid, while others would deliberately use expensive materials and take a cut of the construction funding. I spent a while collecting information in the city.
There's a shit ton of
eventually
memes from
learned
it.
that you're the most
You've probably
famous
seen something from the
architect
movie, even if you
in all
haven't
of
actually seen the
Sumeru.
movie.
I figured
I know
that
it's not
you
intentional,
wouldn't
Neo. I always
need to
forget
make
just how
more
young
by
you are.
scamming people. So
You're
I
good.
decided to reach out to you. By the way, how did you know I was scammed? I don't think I've ever mentioned that to anybody.
Because I've been
Just
there,
a
brother.
hunch.
Because
a while
I've
ago,
been
I
there.
accepted an offer to work on a project in the desert, and was also scammed out of a large sum of Mora. I ran into someone who was living in a pretty run-down house. I noticed a load-bearing wall on the verge of collapse, and suggested that I build a new house for him. He said that he had no way to pay for it, so I loaned him some of my own Mora, and told him to get some stone and timber from the local vendors. Soon after that, I found out that he had gone gambling with all the money, and lost everything, down to the last coin. And after that, he even borrowed Mora from me twice more, using a different excuse each time. I didn't even
Bruh.
suspect him of any wrongdoing until he hired a group of mercenaries and tried to ambush me in his own house. According to him, I looked like an easy target because I was an academia scholar who didn't have any family or friends in the desert. What kind of person would just look at someone else and think, this guy looks like an easy target?
Oh, Kaveh. Oh, sweet summer child.
Those kinds of things do happen every once in a while, yes. Folks like him are the exact reason why us desert dwellers' reputation have gone down the drain. I must apologize to you on their behalf.
It's all right. You were also scammed by someone from Kasharwar after all. I should apologize to you on their behalf. Ultimately, neither of our experiences had anything to do with the desert or the rainforest. People who are new to an area are always easy targets for criminals.
I'll help you build your library, good sir. And we shall name it the Kaveh Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good and want to learn how to do other stuff good too.
Yeah, you'll find both good and bad people everywhere. I can't understand the logic of those who like to take advantage
That's
of
the
others.
full name, you have to say the whole
But I
thing.
have to accept their existence as a fact of life. Anyway, I digress. Let's return to the topic at hand. Did you keep rejecting my designs because you thought I was deliberately using expensive materials to take a cut as a middleman?
That's what I was afraid of initially, yes. I eventually understood that you weren't out to cheat me. But unfortunately, I still don't have nearly enough Mora to pay for the design you proposed.
Yes, but now that I know what you're actually fucking even building, we can figure something out that's actually reasonable for both of us, my dude.
I've done the math and know that we should be able to make it if we cut some corners. However, after our conversations, I can see that you're passionate about your design, and I'm quite fond of the proposal as well. So, I decided to try and see if I can afford your proposal as is. I've been looking for work every day, and in another month, I should be able to cobble together enough Mora to meet the budget.
By cobble together, you mean you're going to spend your entire life
That night
savings on
stream
this
starting
project?
soon. Ooh, very nice.
But then,
Best
what
of
will
luck.
you do if something
You have a
unexpected
good stream as
comes
well and a
up,
wonderful evening.
and you find yourself stuck with no emergency fund?
To be honest, I haven't really thought about that. I mean, when you've lived to be my age and something happens, you can't really call it unexpected anymore. All I want is to build this library before I leave this world, so that the children of the future would have some books to read, and the desert dwellers would be able to learn their letters and pick up some practical knowledge.
I must save the children!
A while ago, I heard that the academia had decided to recruit a number of exceptional children from the desert. Of course, this is welcomed news. But as someone who spent their entire life in the desert, I still have a few concerns. I know the desert life, and can predict what the problems will be. Many children from the desert have had neither the interest nor the proper environment to learn. So even if the academia would take them in, once they enter the halls, they might find themselves surrounded by other children who look and act very differently from them.
What? Children
And as a
bullying other
result,
children
they
from a
might
different
become
place or
socially
culture?
isolated.
That never happened.
Yes, I can imagine that. My father
Screams
passed away
internally.
at an early age. Even though I had a good number of friends during my years at the academia, for some time I still sensed many critical looks in my direction. I'm sure a child coming all the way from the desert will have an even harder time. But let's bring this back to the building itself. I think you said that you want this building to be quiet and warm, with its doors serving as a solid barrier to block out the sound and fury outside, and allow one to focus on the book in their hands. Building it according to the current plan will be quite costly. Even if I don't charge you any commission fees, I don't think we'd be able to keep it under your budget. Any ideas on what we can do?
Take out a loan? Sponsors?
Sponsor the project?
It'd be
You
good
mean convince
publicity.
wealthy merchants to join our cause and pool their money together to build the library? That does make sense. A library is a big project, and it's going to be hard to fund it with just a single person's mora. What do you think? If we can find others to sponsor the project, we could potentially increase the size of the building 2- or 3-fold.
It's all fine with me, but where do you think we'll be able to find these sponsors?
Well, you're right. If I really think about it, I'm not too familiar with many big-name merchants.
I have an inn with the Dory.
Her? Hard pass. With her shrewd and greedy personality, she would never put Mora into something like this.
That's the thing, though. It'd look really good. It's like when Lex Luthor tries to act like he's turned around. He starts donating to charities and shit. Elfen Lied? Oh, God. I liked it a lot when I was an edgy... I liked it a lot when I first watched it as an edgy teenager. Then I read the manga and was like, oh, this is fucking trash. I got to the diaper girl that the anime decided to cut out for some reason. And I was like, oh, this is complete fucking schlock and garbage. And then with the power of retrospect, I hate even the anime. It has some good ideas. I'd be lying if I said it probably wouldn't still make me cry. It also does a thing with the dog, exactly. Exactly. So I won't be watching it again anytime soon to reevaluate it. But yeah.
Now there's an idea. She probably won't say no
Very
if
good
all
music.
she'll need to do is to make some introductions instead of spending Mora.
I recommend
Let's
giving
go and pay
the
her a
opening
visit.
credits theme a listen sometime if you have not already. Very, very pretty music. But the actual material is schlock. Also, yeah, diaper girl. I will not elaborate in any way.
Oh, now here is some
Hello, small
unexpected
child
facts.
who isn't actually a small
Brings
child,
you
apparently.
To the palace of Alcazar's Ray. When I saw Kaveh, I almost thought it must be that time of month again. Sadly for me, I must wait a few more days before I can collect my shiny Mora.
Hey, can't you think of something else for a change?
No.
You are literally living in an objet d'art, and yet your mind is still fixated on nothing but Mora? What is the point of wealth, anyway? Is your happiness entirely dependent on your hoard of cold, emotionless Mora?
That's exactly right. Mora is extremely valuable, you see. If you don't keep your mind on it, your Mora may just find its way to somebody else's pockets.
Yes, it
If you
is.
ask me, this place is still way too empty. Just give me some time and I'll fill it to the brim with lots and lots of Mora.
You're hopeless.
Oh, so you have an actual reason to visit me? All right, let's hear it. Merchants? Why? Is there some kind of business opportunity? I see. So you're just looking for someone to help you fit the bill.
Ugh, I knew you wouldn't be interested in something like this. Still, you wouldn't refuse just making some introductions for us, would you?
Sure, I can connect you with some folks, but with every service comes a fee, you know.
A fee? You mean just for introductions?
Of course! Making introductions means using my connections and putting my reputation on the line. Why wouldn't I charge a fee for something so important? Since
Because
we've
it's
known
for
each other for
sick
so
children,
long, though,
or
I'll
kids
give
who
you
don't know how to
a
read good
returning customer discount.
and want to learn how to do other stuff good too.
How about 500,000 Mora?
500,000? I guess that's okay. But why are you charging a fee before we've even secured any funding? That just doesn't seem right.
The dog is what made you realize it's a pretentious, edgy bullshit. Oh yeah, yeah. Like when I first watched it and liked it, like I was in my edgy teenager phase, and I did not yet have the dead animal trauma that I now have to that degree. Like I could still watch All Dogs Go to Heaven back then. But yeah, like if I were to watch it now, obviously, that would be the tipping point.
Besides, by helping us out, you'd be doing a great service to the public. Can't you take your mind off your Mora even for just 1 second and focus on something far more important?
No.
Very well. Since you're so passionate about this project, I'll help you out and waive the introduction fees. 3 of my business partners came by earlier today to discuss some things with me, and they still haven't left yet. I'll arrange a meeting for you, and just so we're clear, it'll be up to you to present your project and discuss any deals.
Thank you, Dory. Love ya.
Thank you so much.
Genuinely surprised.
You can wait here. I'll bring them over to you.
Dory gave us a brief introduction about the two of you. You are Kaveh, the renowned architect, and you are the traveler. Practically all of Teyvat has heard of you by now. To be frank, I don't feel like there's an obvious business opportunity here, but since Dory took the time to introduce you, we can spend some time to have a conversation. So, let's hear your idea.
You have a lot of nerve sounding that smug for somebody with that haircut. Just saying.
All right, here's the situation. I've been commissioned to build a library in the desert, with the intended goal of allowing the desert dwellers to have more access to reading materials.
So it's a public welfare project.
Correct.
Then the commission fees will likely be very low. You should be careful.
I'm not too concerned about how much I'll get for the commission fees, actually. I'm fine with doing it for free. I just want to get this project rolling as soon as possible. We're just a little short on funding.
Yeah, Kaveh's too nice for his own good.
So what? You can't possibly expect that we just cover the shortfall for you.
Don't you lecture me with your $30 haircut, bruh.
Besides, what does a library in the desert have to do with us? If you want to build it yourself with your own Mora. Seems simple enough to me.
Have none of you fucks read a Superman comic? I repeat, it's good publicity. It can make Lex Luthor look good.
Hey, there's no need to be so harsh. They are Dory's associates, after all. Here, can you tell us a bit more about what we can gain from sponsoring this project?
You can get his client to advertise your businesses. Like, if they get something like this, and then that spirals into more infrastructure being built eventually, you'll be able to do more business out there. Get the lead out, get an early start, and get your name out there.
So we'd mostly be doing it for reputation and exposure? There is some value to that. It could make doing business in the desert a bit easier.
Like, getting paid and exposure is a load of malarkey, but in a situation like this, or it's for a good cause, and you'll get a bunch of good publicity just from that alone, and it's in an entirely new demographic, essentially. Not the worst thing in the world.
Well, just speaking for myself, I've got nothing in the desert.
Okay, racist. Well, it was earlier than expected, Mr. Kaveh, but we finally got the funds for the library. What? That was fast. How the hell did that happen? A large sum via an anonymous member of the academia. Ah, I see. Wait a minute. Hello, Kaveh. Hello, Al Hatham. Think you got enough room in your game room in the draft? No. Think you got enough room for a game room in the draft? You know that's not how that works. They can put a foosball table in there or something.
I also have a concern. It feels like there's not much to profit from in the short term. But in the long term, the reputation gain also doesn't sound like it'd offset the cost of the sponsorship.
Then how about this? What if, instead of building a single library, we commit to an entire complex of buildings dedicated to culture and education?
Wouldn't that just cost more?
No. Let's see how stupid he is.
Yes, but in that case... Mr. Kaveh, please tell us what you have in mind.
I'll just give an example. If we were to build a library and a school near Aru Village, then the desert dwellers would gradually begin to migrate towards the area. A whole suite of buildings will be able to host more traffic, and thus drive the economic development of the entire area. In turn, that would lead to direct business opportunities.
That's what I was saying. Smart man.
I've been to the desert several times. Although there are still many lingering tensions between the two regions, the amount of interaction has been steadily increasing, and in the long term, the desert will only become more and more important to Sumeru.
You do have a point.
Education in the desert is indeed an industry that has not been tapped into. If we can be the first to place stakes in the area...
And you just believe anything he tells you?
Even the greenest amateurs know that urban planning will affect
I can't do a
population flow.
Seinfeld.
If you don't believe me, you can ask anyone on the street to confirm it to you.
You...
Sorry, I'm eating Fritos. Is there an AI generator for Jerry Seinfeld and or Wayne Knight's voices yet? Because as soon as there is, somebody should replicate Neo's exchange. Please only ask questions that are relevant to our discussion, sir.
Wait, something just occurred to me.
Get your racist ass out of here.
If we're going to build a library in the desert, Aru Village would obviously be the best place for it. But it seems we're not the only ones with our eyes on the village. I heard a rumor a while back saying a lot of land and buildings in Aru Village have already been secretly purchased by a big-name merchant.
What?
What?
In other words, if we try to join the fray now, there won't be much left for us. If we want to build a suite of buildings focused on education and culture, Aru Village is the prime location. If we want to build it anywhere else, we'll have to deal with a far larger list of problems. It's not impossible, I suppose, but...
Then there's no hurry. We can wait for Aru Village to develop more first and get into the market for expansion to other areas.
But if you were to do that...
Is there nothing else to discuss? Great timing! I pretty much heard all I want to hear. If there are no other urgent matters, I'll be on my way.
I'm gonna
I'll
stab
be
you
off
in the
as
face
well.
with a soldering
If you have any
iron.
new ideas, please feel free to reach out.
It seems like the others are not interested in funding this, so no point in me doing this on my own. Let's revisit this another time.
Hey, guys, wait! Well, what can I say? I guess it went somewhat as expected. They are Dory's friends, after all. As soon as they heard that there's not much more in this for them, they lost all interest.
What are you talking about, dude? We literally had them. We literally had them until we realized that somebody else has already bought up a bunch of land. Dude.
Yeah, it's just another day doing business with people. But I can never get used to that.
Well, we
These
had two
people
of them.
never
We didn't
think
have the
of
racist
anyone
guy,
other
but
than
fuck that guy
themselves.
anyway.
Looks like we'll have to figure out some other way to get the funding. Let's go.
How did the meeting go? Want to talk about it?
I was gonna say a merchant most famous. That's gotta be Dory, right? Dory, give us some of your land.
Oh, where did all that passion go from earlier, I take it you weren't able to find a sponsor for your project?
Please don't tell me that you're here to mock us.
What kind of person do you take me for? Would the kind and generous Lord Sangama Bay really do such a thing? I will say, though, I more or less expected this outcome even before I introduced them to you. You can try to talk up the project all you want, but the facts will remain the same. This project is high investment with slow returns. No sane person would put their money into this.
But this isn't just a business project, right? Also, if you already knew no one would want to partner with us, why did you still try to charge me 500,000 mora? You scammer!
You might want to remember who your creditor is before you start talking like that, Kaveh.
I'll pay back every last coin that I still owe you, but that's a completely different matter.
Alright, since you're so devastated about this, I'll set you up for dinner with another big-name merchant. In fact, I'll be inviting the most famous merchant in all of Sumeru, so I'll be counting on your performance.
Isn't that
What?
just you?
Really? I would like to sincerely apologize for my attitude just now.
No sane person would do it. That's why I did it instead. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
So, where would we be meeting this merchant?
Follow me. Oh, I suppose both of you can come.
I just wish that some people would actually do their jobs.
Let me run. Let me run!
This is the place.
You said you're going to introduce us to the most famous merchant in Sumeru. Well, where are they?
You still don't get it, huh? The most famous merchant in Sumeru?
Duh!
Huh? So you met yourself all along? Then why did you bring us here?
Well, I've given it some thought, and that complex of education and culture buildings that you mentioned does hold some promise. It'll be a pretty big Mora sink, and I'll have to fund it all on my own, but that's not really a problem for me.
Seriously? Where's this generosity coming from so suddenly? Are you trying to scam me again?
The reasons are not important. What's important is that I'm willing to help you. However,
It is a good idea.
That once this project actually
It's just going to take a while to pay actual returns.
My pockets like crazy. So, to cut costs...
But she's got like $1 grillion, so it's fine.
I get it. I won't charge any commission fees, and I'll take responsibility for the entire project.
Bruh.
Splendid! Then let's sign the contract right away.
Oh.
This way, the children of the desert will have some books to read. Their lives should improve a bit after this.
And all it took was you going into debt for the rest of your life.
Okay, I set you up with the biggest, most beautiful merchant in Sumeru. She's right through the store.
Thank you.
Hello, Kaveh.
Oh, you were just on the other side of the door! Dory with a shitty mustache, I need it.
Of course. There are a few things better than using my knowledge to help other people change their fates. I must thank you as well, Dory. I used to say you only cared about Mora, which might have been some prejudice on
all
my
the more in
part.
the world, it still wouldn't want more. Oh, absolutely.
I will also try to pay back my debts as soon as possible.
She's a bottomless pit.
Now, let's have a quick discussion. Where would you want the library to be built? That will be the most important building.
There's no rush. I'll provide you with a copy of the deed when we get back. You can just use the address on the document to find the lot.
Huh? The deed?
Wait.
So hold on a sec. The person who has been buying up everything around Aru Village was you all along?
Again!
Oh
no
my.
fucking duh!
Did I not tell you about that? Yep, yours truly has been buying up all the land. I must thank you for bringing your ideas to me. Before our conversation, I had no idea what to build on all those lots.
You just bought huge chunks of land with no actual game plan? Jesus, lady.
So, from my perspective, this has been a great turn of events. I didn't put much in and easily got a lot in return.
But what about my commission fees?
Huh? Didn't you waive those yourself? I was just gonna say that to cut costs. We mustn't procrastinate and should start construction as soon as possible. But before I could finish my sentence, you volunteered to waive your commission fees and even promised to take responsibility for the whole project from start to finish.
Bruh.
I'm so touched, really.
It's obvious that you used every trick in the book to deceive me. You deliberately paused for a long time while talking about the project and kept glancing at me with that menacing look in your eyes.
Huh? You really think so? Well, the contract's already been signed, so there's no point in dwelling on the details. You know what? I'll pay for tonight's dinner.
Put her with Fox. Oh man, the pink hair is not winning Ninja over. Oh, Jesus. You don't know if you love her, hate how smug she is? I kind of love it, but also Jesus fucking Christ.
Fine, I'll drop the argument on the commission fees. But since you said you're paying for dinner...
I want 2 steaks, no. 3 steaks.
I'm going to order the best dishes and booze this place has to offer, and lots of it. Tonight, we're feasting until I've recouped my full commission fees.
They exchange stories of them fucking over their boy toys, Jesus Christ.
I wonder if I'll ever be able to create something so incredible.
The sad emote is the only one in that acting. It's a cute picture, at least. Yeah, no Dory Hangouts, so we don't really know why she's like this. She just is. We seem content with the situation. Charlotte finding Yonfei. Oh yeah, they do also have. Is Yonfei's hair pink? Yeah, like, what do we call that? We call that pink? She's got Nakito syndrome. What color is her hair? Is it light red? Is it orange? Is it pink? You decide. Diona's pink. Diona's fine. She's cute. I wish this would stop yelling at me! Alrighty. Next up, go for Blueprint for the Future. It starts on Concealed Circumstances. Okay, salmon. Yep, no, that one's all on its own. There it is. Yes, 35 million more. You can buy all the food you want. That's about how much I probably have. How much money I got? Oh my god. Hey, Dory! Yo, Dory, who has more Mora, me or you? Probably you. But nonetheless. It's almost like there's not really anything to use money on in this game right now. Weird. Huh.
Following me.
Yeah. Dory would probably have more than you, probably. I feel like Dory has more money than most people. All right, let's see, before we do this other route real quick, actually, give me a quick break. I just downed a bag of Fritos and desperately need something to drink. I'm out of coffee. I will be right back. May as well run to the bathroom while I'm up. So, everybody get up, stretch those
There's no
legs.
such thing as pure freedom
Yada,
in this
yada.
world. Even the wind cannot blow on forever.
Shut the fuck up, Yamato. I'll be right back. Oh, dang it, Grandpa. Feels like the song that you play whenever Al shows up in a serious Kaveh scene. Kaveh expositing about his mom raising him alone. And how he's so sick of being taken advantage of by life. And then Al struts up with the song blaring in the background. I can see it. It is Monami's theme. She more or less did the same shit. Alrighty. Oh, 1 second, I got to take a pill. Got to take my, got to take it with my dinner. So I will take it with Fritos instead. Alright. Alright, get back in there. Get back in the water. I'll be curious to see what the, I kind of expected this route to be its own thing. I don't know what are the other, what other solution there could be.
We meet again.
Huh?
That's what we wanted to ask you. Who are...
I'm gonna start skipping this since we literally just saw it.
There's no need for us to continue this project if you still want to keep hiding things from us. I don't work with individuals I can't trust.
Believe me, I didn't have any bad intentions. It's just... All right, there's no point hiding anything anymore. The building I'm trying to commission you for is not really a personal residence for me.
A library? Funded entirely by yourself. I've heard that the academia will be looking to prioritize the desert with the allocation of educational resources and materials.
You're right, and I was aware of these happenings as well. The desert is too vast. Even if the academia spends a lot of effort trying to disseminate knowledge in those parts, it might still take decades. And what's more, I don't know if the academia would ever reverse its stance in the future. All I know is that as a desert dweller, we should not wait passively for good things to happen to us. I don't have much longer left on this world, so I just want to use whatever time I have to contribute something to my homeland.
Why you lying, though?
I didn't want you to know that I came from the desert. I've lived in the desert my entire life, and there wasn't anyone here that I could trust. I figured I needed as much safety as I could get.
To the point that you even disguised your identity? That's certainly taking playing it safe to the next level. Hold on.
Have I heard the new remixes of Danganronpa tracks? I have not.
Before?
When I first came to Sumeru City,
I don't even know what's up with
I brought
Danganronpa,
a
like
lot
what
of
new
Mora,
tracks would have been
hoping
remixed
to
for.
find an architect that I could work with. Someone agreed to take on the project, and even took a sum of Mora from me, but then disappeared without a trace. After that, I heard that there are a lot of untrustworthy people in this business. Some would run as soon as they've been paid, while others would deliberately use expensive materials and take a cut of the
from
construction
Decadence.
funding.
Okay, yeah, that explains
I
it.
spent a while collecting
Yeah, I still
information
I
in
have
the
not
city,
actually touched that game
and
at all.
eventually learned that you're the most famous architect in all of Sumeru.
Just 10? Okay.
I
That's
figured
cool, though.
that you wouldn't need to make Mora by scamming people, so I decided to reach out to you. By the way, how did you know I was scammed? I don't think I've ever mentioned that to anybody.
Just a hunch. A while ago, I accepted an offer to work on a project in the desert, and was also scammed out of a large sum of Mora. I ran into someone who was living in a pretty run-down house. I noticed a load-bearing wall on the verge of collapse, and suggested that I build a new house for him. He said that he had no way to pay for it, so I loaned him some of my own Mora, and told him to get some stone and timber from the local vendors. Soon after that, I found out that he had gone gambling with all the money, and lost everything, down to the last coin. And after that, he even borrowed Mora from me twice more, using a different excuse each time.
Oh yeah,
I didn't
Kaveh
even
also
suspect
has a
him of
boob
any
window.
wrongdoing until he hired a group
This
of
guy don't
mercenaries
count. A
and
lot
tried
of
to ambush
characters have
me in his
boob
own
windows
house.
first.
According to him, I looked
Including
like an easy
Kaya,
target because I was an
which I did not
academia
realize until
scholar
yesterday
who
because
didn't
it's
have
been a
any
while since we've
family
seen
or
him.
friends in the desert. What kind of person would just look at someone else and think, this guy looks like an easy target?
Those kinds of things do happen every once
Yeah,
in
lots
a while,
of
yes.
lots of boob windows on the
Folks
males
like
in this
him
game.
are the exact reason why us desert dwellers' reputation have gone down the drain.
None for the girls, somehow.
I must apologize to you on their behalf.
It's all right. You were also scammed by someone from Kasharwar, after all. I should apologize to you on their behalf. Ultimately,
Posted in live stream
neither of
chat,
our
cool.
experiences had
Or
anything
no,
to do
in,
with the
music room,
desert
rather.
or the rainforest. People who are new to an area are always easy targets for criminals. Yeah, you'll find both good and bad people everywhere. I can't
True.
understand the logic of those who like to take advantage of others. Anyway, I digress. Let's return to the topic at hand. Did you keep rejecting my designs because you thought I was deliberately using
yes, sorry,
expensive
a lot of
materials
it's
to take
still
a
the
cut
same.
as a middleman?
I thought it might
That's
change
what
the
I was
different
afraid
options,
of
but
initially.
I'm pretty sure this is all exactly the
Yes.
same thus far.
I eventually understood that you weren't out to cheat me. I've done the math and know that we should be able to make it if we cut some corners. So, I decided to try and see if I can afford your proposal as is.
By cobbled together, you mean you're going to spend your entire life savings on this project? But then...
To be honest, I haven't really thought about that. I mean, when you've lived to be my age and something happens, you can't really call it unexpected anymore. All I want is to build this library before I leave this world.
Yo, that's cool.
So that the children of the
Kazuha
future
and,
would have some
Xingyuan.
books to read.
Outfit swap, that's
And
cute.
the desert dwellers would
They
be
work
able to
it.
learn their letters and pick up some
Xingyuan
practical
with the titty
knowledge.
window? Don't mind if I do.
A while ago, I heard that the academia had decided to recruit a number of exceptional children from the desert. Of course, this is welcomed news. I know the desert life and can predict what the problems will be. So even if the academia would take them in, once they enter the halls, they might find themselves surrounded by other children who look and act very differently from them.
Yes, I can imagine that. My father passed away at an early age. Even though I had a good number of friends during my years at the academia, for some time I still sensed many critical looks in my direction. I'm sure a child coming all the way from the desert will have an even harder time. But let's bring this back to the building itself. I think you said that you want this building to be quiet and warm, with its doors serving as a solid barrier to block out the sound and fury outside, and allow one to focus on the book in their hands. Building it according to the current plan will be
Kazuha
quite costly.
Yeah, wait a
Even if I
minute.
don't charge you any commission fees.
Yeah, wait a minute. It
don't
just
think we'd be able to keep
say
it under
brain
your budget.
cell immediately. Like, wait a minute. Thinks about Jingyuen's hair color and how it's kind of scruffy, fuzzy. Like it's There's no way.
Any ideas on what we can do?
There's no way. Jingyuen's from anime. Jingyuen's from space China. Kazuha's dead homie was from anime Japan. There's no way. Ain't no way. Oh, okay, alright. Just come up with a different design. Now that you actually know what you're doing.
A slightly different style. Give me a minute. Most architects would probably prioritize cutting costs and removing extra features in this situation. Indeed, converting the building into a simple bungalow would solve most of our problems. However, I do not think this would be the best solution. While it's true that the aesthetic value of a building is often viewed as an afterthought, neglecting it has some long-term negative consequences. It is especially undesirable in this situation, as the library will serve a high number of children, many of whom would have never been exposed to structures that may be considered elegant or beautiful. To completely give up on the more aesthetic design would mean stripping the children of an opportunity to appreciate the beauty of architecture. I share Badawie's sentiments in wanting to preserve a more complex design.
Yeah.
However,
if
we can reduce the ornate aspects of the design while maintaining its fundamental elegance, which is to say we won't touch the arches and stone pillars, but make changes elsewhere. This is definitely a first. To make up for the loss of regular details, we would need to put a lot of extra effort into the layout, lines, and color.
I was gonna say, you can make up for a lot of that with a good paint
really
job.
Be okay?
It just increases the difficulty of the
Still
design.
make the place seem fancy.
You should feel lucky that out of all the architects in the city, you chose to approach me. Most of the others would have given up on this project by now. As for inspiration, I think I might have something in mind, but I'd need to visit the site to make sure. Where do you want this place to be built? Tell me the exact location.
Aru Village. Although it wasn't my childhood home, I think it'll be the best site for such a building.
Don't mind
Okay,
that.
then we can pay a visit to Aru Village.
I was gonna check
Is
on
there
Star
something
Rail
I
in the
can do for
background.
you? I've
Apparently, I
already
still got a window
caused you
open
a lot
somewhere.
of trouble before, and now you're revising the design
Yep, there
again
it is.
because of me.
Fusion's
Which
minding
draft
it.
are we even on
Fusion's
now?
minding it a lot.
It's making me feel terribly guilty.
Don't mind me, I was just gonna turn on auto battle.
You said you used to be an Eremite mercenary, right? In that case, you could help us clear
The
out some
material
monsters
grind
that
is
are
real
blocking the way
right
to Aru
now.
Village. We want to keep the roads clear and reduce the loss of materials during transport to a minimum. If everything goes well, that'll help us save Samora.
All right, just leave it to me. If there's anything I'm good at, it's clearing out monsters.
What are you waiting for then? Let's pack up and get ready to go.
Transform and roll out. Oh, that is a good spot for it. So much of this desert is goddamn empty.
Quit following me.
Need some more infrastructure here. I hope I hope no character ever needs scarabs ever again.
Most materials going from Caravan Ribat to Aru Village would pass through here. There are a lot of monsters out here today. If you find it hard to keep up, just let us know.
Oh, don't worry about me. This is nothing. I'll be careful, though, and you should do the same.
You still need scarab secret? Oh god!
Sight clear.
Quietly now. Here comes the catch. Gears of the storm. We'll see if
The wind rises.
You okay, old timer? Is Farazan's alt bothering you?
I'm fine. I've spent my entire life fighting these kinds of monsters in the desert.
Oh, because you're working on
all.
other characters, fair enough.
They won't get the best of me. But it's one thing to fight against monsters, and another to fight against an old injury. It's something I picked up when I was young. There were many fights between mercenary brigades back then, and one day someone stabbed me in the back. I don't think much of it back then, but with age, it's caught up to me. Few mercenaries get to enjoy their later years. Failing health tends to take the joy out of
Where is
reputation
Grandma
and
Fuwa with
wealth.
her two sons?
And many
Oh, no.
mercenaries never even made much of the latter to begin with.
Is there someone you know who can help to look after you?
I do hope we get a Fuwa
Unfortunately,
XP
no.
at some point.
My wife passed away at an early age, and I don't have any children. Sometimes I'd close my eyes and realize most of my life story has already been written. I have many regrets about my past, but at the same time, I also know that there were never many options for me in the first place. I joined the Eremites when I was young, and won many battles with them. My survival was more a matter of luck than actual ability. If at all possible, I want future children of the desert to have some more options in life. I don't want them to turn out like me. My apologies. The older we get, the more we tend to ramble. Seems like we've already cleared out most of the monsters. Let's hurry over to Aru Village.
You okay there, buddy?
I think it's really admirable of him to spend his whole life savings on people he's never met. Maybe he's doing this out of natural kindness. A kindness that hasn't been eroded away by the struggles of his life.
I mean, hello, Pop. My name is Kettle. You're black.
Perhaps. To clarify, though, I don't think I'm quite the same. Some people call me an idealist. I do have some
people call
sentiments
me
of
the
that
space
general
cowboy.
persuasion, such as wanting everyone to be able to lead a happy life. But my situation is more complex than that. In the beginning, what drove me to harbor those thoughts was less idealism and more a desire
Also, yeah, he's
to
not
make
part of
up
the
for a
Eremites, so
sense
that's
of
why he's
guilt.
white.
When I was young, I impulsively encouraged my father to take part in the first Inter-Darshan Championship, hosted by the Academia. He set off confidently hoping to win something for me, but failed to clinch the title. What's more, he fell into depression after the competition, and requested to join an investigative research project in the desert. I never saw him again. Word has it that he got caught in quicksand. Even if other factors may have contributed to his death, the fundamental cause still circles back to me. I started doing many things in life
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
the
wanted to make
event.
amends. Even in cases where I couldn't do something for a specific person, I still did whatever I could. I think I just wanted to make myself feel a little better.
That's still how you
At
feel?
this point, even I don't know. I've tried self-reflection, but it didn't help. I can't seem to walk away from many things that I see or hear about, even if they don't directly concern me. And I can't quite pinpoint the source of it. Maybe it's just like what those Vahumana scholars often say. It's hard for people to truly understand themselves. I could be doing things out of endless guilt, or I could be doing them out of a strong sense of empathy. It could even just be a matter of conceit. The potential motivations could number in the dozens, but the actions they result in are the same. Anyway, I suppose I don't really mind being called an idealist. They also used that term to describe my father. It seemed to carry fewer connotations back when he was around. I've known Alhaitham for many years now, and discussed my ideology with him for nearly as long. Maybe argued is a better word for it. He told me a long time ago that no matter how strong of a swimmer you may be, you'll still get dragged under by the others who are drowning once you run out of stamina. He believes
Kramer,
this
what's
is
going
the
on
fate
in
that
there?
awaits all idealists.
Guilty gear local, Jerry.
I still believe I should live by my ideals, and I've given him countless reasons why I think it's a good
Beautiful.
idea to do so. Perhaps my ideals are flawed, but are there really any perfect things in this world? Unfortunately, he remains unconvinced. His personality is the exact opposite of my own. If someone happens to drown next to him, he'll most likely stand on the shore and mumble something along the lines of respecting other people's fates. But as you can see, I'm not the only idealist in the world. Just as there are different seasons, there are also different people. There are many others who will continue to care about the fates of those who are not directly related to them. And when I finally run out of stamina, someone will also reach out and bring me back to shore. Someone will help me, right? Yes, I've already been helped like that before.
Wear your water wings wherever you go, Kaveh. Never, ever take the water wings off. I'll help you. I hate that he is, like, low-key the most relatable character in the game. It's fucked up.
But you've helped me plenty already. If you didn't reach out to me, I would probably be passed out on the tavern table right now instead of talking with Badawi. Either way, I'm feeling much better than when you first found me at the tavern.
I'm in
Feel
danger.
inspiration already welling up inside of me. Maybe this will be just the opportunity I needed to create a whole new style. All right, let's head to Aru Village.
Too slow. Squall and Fury. Quit following me.
I'm not following you. Quit bitching. How about that? Oh, yeah, Mattel. Never ever change.
Behold!
Now that we're here, it's my partner's time to shine. Marak!
Beep, beep.
Oh, what's this?
My toolbox. I built it using an ancient mechanical core. It's not too smart, but it's super useful and can help me with a variety of tasks. I'll take Marak and find a suitable location for the building. Once that is done, I'll get to work on a few designs.
Traveler?
Who?
Ah, you know each other?
Hello. I suppose you must be Kaveh from Kasharwar. I have heard of you before. My name is Sataria, and I'm currently the person in charge of promoting educational assistance programs here in the desert.
Educational assistance programs. Then
Like to imagine you have
you
every
must be
character in the
familiar with the
conga line
local
mimicking whoever's in
conditions here.
control. Oh my god.
I can't say
Beautiful.
I'm too familiar just yet.
Like
but if
lemons,
you have
yes.
any questions, I'll try my best to answer them.
I was gonna
I've
ask.
been
That's the only
commissioned
thing
by
I could
Mr.
think of.
Badawi
I was
to
like,
build
is
a
this the
library
lady we
in the
fucking
desert.
gaslit?
We've
Yo!
settled on the general design direction, but we are trying
Okay,
to
I actually do
finalize some
remember her.
details based on the conditions around the intended location.
A library? Do you intend to open it to the public for free?
she's
That's
helping
right.
public works
I want to
projects
make
now.
sure
Good for
the
her.
children will have books to read.
That's fantastic. I'm sure the children will be thrilled. Right now, we don't have access to many paper books or a quiet place to read. Truth be told, this very thing has been keeping me up at night.
Let me get straight to my questions then. Can you estimate the number of children around here who'd be interested in reading? Besides the usual noise of village pedestrians, are there any other sources of noise in the village? Oh, and have any landslides occurred here recently? And also, where are the spots around the village that have been most affected by wind and erosion?
Traveler holding in a laugh. Tee-tee-hee. I appreciate the mumbling. Very
All right.
realistic.
That should be everything. Badawi, let's go over the budget again. We'll keep the building structure the same, but make the place a little bigger, so it'll be able to hold more people and get better natural light. The parts of the project that cost the most will be the insulation and ventilation materials. I'm sure you understand, no one likes to read in a place that's hot and stuffy. I want to make significant changes to the arrangement of the bookshelves, tables, and chairs. I'll go over the specifics of that shortly. I have two plans in mind. Both are pretty minimalist in style, but will provide a very different ambiance from the world outside. Our final cost should be around 70% of the last figure I quoted. The whole thing should take around half a year to complete. Marak has produced a sketch for all of you to see. If everyone's okay with it, then we'll proceed with that as the formal plan.
You got a new design already?
The inspiration just came to me naturally. All I did was put
That is
thoughts
actually
to
how that
paper.
tends to work.
I must give you credit, though.
Extreme
if it weren't for
Makeover
your
Home
advice
Edition,
and
yeah.
suggestions, I probably wouldn't have landed on this new style so quickly. According to the traditions of my profession, I should probably name this style after you. Let's call it the Traveler style. In the meantime, let's look forward to the day when this building is completed and can finally open its doors.
I wanted to call it the Nova style. Hope we see that eventually, like the Shrine of Shell. I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they'll be able to do anything like that, considering the endings are different routes. Oh god, Neo, Neo, that's a lot of directions. And I'm in. What the? What's going on in there?
What?
That light.
Oh, the red. Dory's new signs outside. They're right outside.
There's
Well,
no
did you
need
shut
to
the- well, did you
exchange
shut the
pleasantries.
They are
It's rather
shut.
pathetic to force a conversation.
Oh, by the way,
just to occupy silence.
your friend Lumine came by.
Oh yeah, what did she say?
Quit following me.
Yeah, she was fired.
Yeah, I don't get it. Gravity is with Neo, yeah. I appreciate that you put so much thought into these, but like, yeah, I've said it time and time again, stage directions don't really translate well. Especially weird that when there's some typos in there. Alright. Next, do the leisurely gathering ending. Start on a Dear Memento. Okay. Sounds good. Go home with Kaveh. Tee-hee, tee-hee. Kind of word for one with the Seinfeld thing. The chicken roaster sign. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember the specifics of that gag. Fair.
Alhaitham isn't in, so feel free to sit wherever. I'll bring out
Dustlick's
the
Pride
box.
logo is not only rainbow colors, but switched from Salt to Venom. Yo! That's awesome! Oh, yo. Oh, I doubt we're getting another character anytime. I was gonna say, I doubt we're gonna get another character announcement this soon, but holy shit, can you imagine if they announced Venom for Strive during Pride Month? Ah, the dream.
Oh, nothing. I just didn't realize how much time had passed. The box is pretty dusty, which means it's already been a while since I've moved into this place, and many years since my mother moved to Fontaine. I'm happy for her. I hope she'll be able to find happiness there. She raised me all by herself after my father passed away. It
They
definitely
haven't even
wasn't
announced
easy
past
for
3.
her.
Yeah, they did.
Anyway, enough
They
about
said there
that.
would be more.
Let's see what I packed into this box. What
You know, season
are
3 is
all these
confirmed.
things? Oh, I remember now. This is a drawing I made in Port Ormos. Obviously, I wouldn't call it anything special now, but I was less than 5 years old when I made this drawing. That's more than 20 years ago. You could say it's pretty good for a child of that age. Now that I've said that out loud, I suppose I do have some level of artistic talent, right? Criticism and self-doubt have always been a part of
How
the
many?
artistic
I
process.
think 4 again.
Without criticism, there can be
They
no
may
improvement.
not have said.
It's
I can't remember
normal
for
for
sure.
me to question my abilities from time to time.
I think they may have just confirmed
I admit
that more
I may have
more
spent a
is
little
coming.
too long questioning myself this time around. But as you know, the heart tends to dwell on whatever it
But
pleases.
if they did, I want to say it was 4 again.
Anyway, never mind. The more I talk about it, the less confident I feel. Let's see what else we have in the box. Ah, my building blocks! It's been years since I've last seen these. When I was a kid, I used to stack them super high, and could even stabilize the tower to keep it from tumbling over. Oh, and this blueprint. I made it by copying my mother's sketch, and the aspect ratio was horrendous. It's still technically the first blueprint I made myself, though.
Aspect ratios.
I was super proud of myself when I finished it, and put it in the same pile as my mother's sketches, hoping she'd notice and compliment me for my good work.
Did she notice you and compliment you for your work?
My mother didn't realize that I had put it there. When she had a meeting with a client the next day, she handed my blueprint to him by mistake. The client was completely confused by this new blueprint, but apparently he felt too tongue-tied to question such a famous architect. It was only a few days later that he finally gathered up the courage to pay my mother a visit. He asked, "The door in this blueprint is even taller than the roof. Is this supposed to be part of the design?" My mother took me with her to personally apologize to the client several times. She didn't scold me about it in private, though. Instead, she went over all the steps required to
You
draw
found
a good
Omega Ruby?
blueprint,
Ooh, nice.
and was very patient throughout the whole process. I still remember it like it was yesterday. Let's see. Is there anything else left in this box? Huh. What was this again?
I do wonder about how much do the 3DS Pokemon get. I'm not in dire straits yet. I never wanted to have to come to that point, but I do wonder how much do the 3DS games go for these days, in the immediate wake of the eShop closing.
Ah, this is my mother's notebook. She used to write and sketch in it all the time. When I was a child, I used to be super fascinated by this notebook, and always pestered my mother to let me read it. After asking her a few times, she told me that I could read it as long as I could guess the password. Huh. Wonder why she didn't take this notebook with her. Did she leave it to me on purpose? If only I could. I never managed to guess the password. Hey, it's not a matter of time, it's a matter of inspiration. That's what we need to guess the password. Who knows? Maybe this time something will click in my head. I could tell what you were thinking. Don't worry, I tried all the easy guesses a long time ago.
Probably so close to market price. At market price, it's just close. 3DS era nostalgia hasn't quite hit yet. Okay, what about the DS games?
I've tried my name, my father's name, my mother's name, my grandparents' names on both sides, and all of our birthdays. I've tried every name and number remotely related to my family. I've even tried stuff like Love You Kaveh, Take Care, and Yours Truly. I wouldn't try that route again. I have a hunch that it won't be that simple.
Phone a friend.
So we could find someone who was close to my mother and see if they might know anything? I see what you're saying, but who should we talk to for that?
I don't
my mother
know,
was
man.
never
I'm
really
not your
the one
mom.
to be social.
I don't
my
know who
father
she
was the
hanged
one
with.
with more friends, but all those connections were severed when he died. Let me think. Is there still someone at the academia who would know my mother? Ah, actually, there is someone. Professor Zaha Hadid. Huh, you've never really heard of her? She's a famous Kshatriyar scholar and leading expert in formal garden design. My mother studied under her as a student many years ago. Professor Zaha Hadid published many works during her career, so I was able to learn a lot by studying her essays. If there's anyone who still remembers my mom, it'd be her. She's older now and is no longer teaching at the academia. But if I remember correctly, she spends most of her time around the Bimarstan area. Let's go take a look. We might run into her if we're lucky.
Around market price was a good estimate on your part, going for around $40 if you don't have it sealed or anything. Dang. Omega Ruby specifically. Dang! I'm not rich yet. I'm guessing that's including if I still have the cases. Going to assume that's not just cartridge only.
What am I supposed to do now? Forget it. I'll
Loose
just
is
head
close
back.
to 30. Damn.
Tainari, what are you doing here?
My get-rich-quick scheme will
it's
have to
you.
wait for another day.
Good to finally see you again.
At least
I
a
came
year
into
or
the
so.
city to buy some experiment reagents, hoping to bring them back with me to Gandharvaville. But as soon as I got here, I noticed someone banging on Cyrus's door. You've all heard of Cyrus, right? He's an ex-sage and Sino's adoptive father. I was thinking about going over to ask what's happening. That granny over there may appear old and frail, but her vocal cords certainly sound loud and healthy as ever.
Granny?
Yeah, she's just over there. You can go check out the situation yourselves in a moment. Kaveh, were you at the tavern?
You smell like a week's worth of alcohol, my dude.
I had a quick drink or two. Can you still
How do you
smell
lose
the
a game
alcohol?
case? Where are you keeping your games? I don't know. I have all mine. I was saying that mine are not loose.
Drinking in broad daylight.
A lot of people find a way,
Really?
apparently.
You want to pass out by the road and get run over by a sumpter beast like some mindless fungus, huh? And you, traveler, you didn't try to stop him?
Granted, all my cases are empty. Like, I have all my cases, but they're kept separately in my TV cabinet. All of my actual cartridges are in a pouch. My to-go case. Back when I actually went places and took my 3DS to those places.
You look like a wreck, Kaveh. What happened? Are you feeling down again?
Sun and Moon are closer to 20. God damn!
You know what? I'm hosting a meal at Pardistii tomorrow evening. Do you want to come?
Okay, fine. Let's change strategies. How much does a used special edition Fire Emblem Fates copy go for?
Huh? Oh, I had no idea. Let me think for a moment. I'll come if I can find some time.
All right. then I'll plan on reserving 2 seats for you. I'll be heading back to Gandharvaville for now. I have a feeling that argument over there is going to continue for quite some time. It might be best if we don't get involved.
A granny who lives nearby. Let's go take a look.
Around 100 if you had to take a guess. God damn! Nothing.
Too slow.
Ha! So, plan on keeping yourself locked in there, huh? Fine by me. If you're not going to come out, then I'm not going to leave.
$376.
So
okay,
well.
never mind.
It had all the potential to become the best tomato this year, and you cut it straight from the vine.
I already told you I had nothing to do with it. Why would I take a tomato that's still weeks from ripening?
Is the guy supposed to be in the house, or,
You'd have to be awfully green as an investigator to think it was me.
If he's supposed to be behind the door, he should probably sound a little more muffled. Aw, damn it, it'd be way funnier if the game was broken.
You see, the word green here could refer to both the color of the
I
tomato
miss the non-Euclidean
and the
slide
fact that your
puzzles.
skills could use some.
Enough nonsense. Just come out and face me, you coward.
Me when I talk shit about Tetsuya Nomura.
You're out of your mind. If I've actually done something wrong, then get a mantra and pull me out by force, why don't ya?
Oh, why you?
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
Professor Zahahadi?
And who are you? Oh, Kaveh. Fancy seeing you here. How long has it been? Come on, get over here and let the professor take a good look at you. Not bad, not bad. You've grown taller again.
Professor, what's going on here?
It's no big deal, really.
Come on,
A few of us
face me,
old scholars got bored in our retirement and decided to put together a vegetable growing competition. At the end, whoever loses will have to go up on stage and do a performance for the winners. Which brings us to our current predicament. My tomato was sure to win until a certain someone decided they couldn't bear to lose.
Hey, don't try to defame me in front of the kids. If we're airing out each other's dirty laundry now, then why don't we talk about you sneaking into Janat's garden the other night?
I'm sorry, this is really funny to me. Just
Lucky for you, seeing these youngsters come to pay their respects today
The guy's
has
supposed
put
to be
me
a
in a
side
better
great,
mood.
but like,
I'll let you off the hook.
they have
for
to be aware of how
now.
silly this looks, right?
Come on, let's go. We'll take our conversation elsewhere. He doesn't need to be a part of it.
Sir, I'm 32
yes,
years old.
of course.
Sir. Delusion, he's not real. The Dorkoon! The Dorkoon is real!
Is Farnak still doing well?
Yes, as far as I know. She left for Fontaine some time ago and started a new life for herself. She's still doing work related to architecture, though.
Ah, yes. I did hear about that.
You think we'll actually
Did
meet
that
Kave's
upset
mom
you
over in
at all?
Fontaine at some point?
No, not at all. She's already sacrificed a lot raising me as a single mother.
That's good to hear. Your mother did struggle quite a bit those few years. It's probably a good thing that she found a new place to call home. Sometimes I wonder if things were harder for her because she was so beautiful. People were always drawn to her beauty first, only to realize she had a sensitive and vulnerable heart underneath. She was still quite young when she first joined my class as a student. Beautiful and radiant with her golden hair, yet quiet and single-minded. She seemed like a lass from some aristocratic house who was seeing the outside world for the first time. She had to make a lot of drastic changes in her life to raise you on her own. Even during her time in the academia, she was a thorough perfectionist. If she was unsatisfied with something she had made, she'd insist on redoing it, even if I was perfectly happy with it. She had many admirers, and they'd always fill up the first few rows of seats, hoping they could get closer to her sitting in the first row. If it were any of my other classes, you'd have found nobody sitting in the front. But every time I saw her, she was always in that same rigid pose. She'd have one hand on her forehead with the other clutching her pencil. Her eyebrows would be knitted in a frown as she concentrated on the blueprint in front of her.
I'm sure she had many difficult moments in her life. How did she cope with the stress?
I'm not too sure. She never talked about such things with me. She rarely opened up to other people, you know. I do remember one time, though, when she got into a heated argument with a friend. She said something I found very memorable. She said, "True art cannot be understood, but as an artist, I wish some people could understand its meaning and value." If you ask me, that's probably the greatest source of pain for geniuses of their craft. It's extremely hard for them to find someone who can truly understand their ideas.
So that's how it is. I wonder if the password could be...
Gundam 00! Understanding! Maybe. Let me double check. Yes.
I tried both just now. Seems those aren't it either.
I like how my answer didn't matter.
My mother left her notebook to me, but it has a password and I haven't figured out what it is yet. I'm trying to learn more about her so I'd have a better chance at cracking the code. Thank you for all that you told us.
It's the least I can do. Talking to youngsters like yourself makes me feel younger too. Honestly, looking at you now, I can see how much you resemble her. It's almost as if she's standing right in front of me again. Your personalities are quite alike, too. You're both stubborn and both a little awkward. Of course, I'm sure the similarities are mostly superficial. But so long as you continue to harbor those traits, you'll find a lot of difficulties in your work. I've taught a lot of students over my career, and in my experience, very few genius architects of Ksharawar ever found happiness for themselves. They would know exactly what they want to express and fight for it tooth and nail, which inevitably led to arguments with their clients. Some clients would choose to respect the architect's vision or just let the argument go because of the architect's reputation, but those are the rare ones. When Faranak first graduated, she was getting into arguments with her clients nearly every single day. I think it only got a little better when she met your father.
I see. But could he understand the designs my mother made?
No, I think they were probably beyond him, too. But despite that, he still stayed next to her.
Artist with commissions.
Listening
Oh yeah,
to her
that's
joys
been the
and sharing
that's
in
been
her
a
sorrows.
reoccurring theme.
Faranek had many admirers, but she
these,
ended up
routes.
choosing your father. His support probably played a part in that decision.
A little too real.
So instead of understanding, perhaps all we need is just companionship.
That's what she was trying to teach.
Huh. It worked.
Oh, was that the right password?
Yes!
Then you should be on your way, child. Find a quiet place and see what she wanted to say to you. Being the awkward person that she is, I suppose there were many things that Faranek could never say out loud. Instead, she probably left them in her diary, hoping that they would make their way to you one day. If you're ever in a mood to chat again, just come and find me here. You're always welcome to discuss architecture topics with me as well.
Thank you so much, Professor.
There's no need to be so formal. I'll let you kids go. It's time for me to take another stroll around the vegetable garden.
I wonder what my mother could have written about.
They all say Zaha Hadid's class is the toughest, but I think it's actually not too bad. On the other hand, though, structural mechanics is definitely a pain, no matter how you try to approach it. I doubled down and managed to get through it in the end. I met someone special. At first, I didn't think much of him, but now, I feel very happy whenever I get to spend time with him. We decided to name our son Kaveh. I don't think a younger me would have ever imagined forming such an intimate bond with another person.
Oh God,
Back
please tell me
then,
this isn't
I
his
lived
mom's
only
sex
in the shadow
journal.
of myself, as well as that of the dream in my heart. The bad news came. And even though it's been several days now, I still can't bring myself to come to terms with what happened. My eyes are so swollen it's hard to see. What if they're all lying to me? And this is just a long, cruel dream. But I have to face reality. I still have someone to take care of. No matter what happens, I'll do my best to raise my son on my own.
Huh?
Ah, I don't
Is
get it.
this a drawing? Seems like it was done by my mother.
The fuck?
This blonde man was probably my father. But who are the other
Wait,
people in the picture?
I was gonna say, what are you trying to say, Gabe?
Why do a few of them look somewhat familiar?
Okay.
From the dates in the notebook, she probably drew this more than 30 years ago. I hadn't even been born yet. Maybe we were thinking too much. Oh, there are a few lines written in the diary about this as well.
The one who invited us to the gathering is a talkative woman. Including us, 3 couples showed up. There was also a person who came alone. The talkative woman introduced everyone to each other. She spoke really quickly, so I couldn't quite catch everything she said, but I also didn't feel like asking her to repeat herself. My husband seems to be friends with the man with long ears. I couldn't really join their conversation.
Are we saying that
so I've resigned myself to sitting in a corner.
people
and
innately
drawing in
develop
my
the
notebook.
same kind of friendship circle?
I don't think I'd be able to become friends with any of these people, especially that stiff-looking couple. That man is certainly very handsome, but he would constantly alternate between disjointed and serious ways of talking.
Or that Kaveh's
His wife is a bit more
parents
bearable.
were also friends with all
We
the
were
other
not acquainted
Sumeru
with each
boys'
other to begin
parents.
with, and I doubt we'll see each other again after
What are we
this gathering.
implying?
The ambiance of this gathering is surprisingly
Everyone is
pleasant,
descendants except for
however.
Cena, who times out
Talking
using
to
the power
people
of
can allow
children's
us to
card
find
games.
some peace after a long day. Maybe my son will also partake in these gatherings in the future. I hope he'll be able to make many friends.
Who would have thought my mother used to attend that kind of thing? It seems she was only good at talking about her own work, and found it difficult to join into other conversations. As a result, she often kept to herself and would be off to the side, drawing. There's more written on the back. Oh, it seems like it was written to me.
Kaveh. I was both overjoyed and distressed when I learned of your decision to continue your studies in Kasharwar. You are very talented, and I am confident that you will become an architect of much acclaim. However, the more talented you are as an artist, the more misery and anguish you may encounter. No one will be able to help you during your journey as an artist. But outside of your life as a creator, you can learn to form connections with other people and enjoy many other things in life. It's the only way to alleviate your suffering. Whenever you feel down, seek out a friend to sit and have a chat. You can accumulate joy and fulfillment by spending time with them. The positive feelings you gain will get you through the long and difficult years. Never forget that companionship is the most important thing of all.
So that's the answer she prepared for me. She really thought long and hard about me and my future. Well, now that I've read her words, do you think I should accept Tainari's invite and attend that dinner at Pardis Di?
I mean, that's clearly what we're going for.
The thought definitely crossed my mind. Although it'd be nice to get together with friends and chat the night away, I don't want to bring down other people's moods because I'm sad.
Just get
Besides,
crunk.
don't most people hate the feeling of seeing their friends troubled and being unable to help? And what's worse, nearly all of my problems can't be easily resolved with some encouraging words or gesture. And don't forget, I'm also older than all of them. As their senior, I should appear to be a bit more responsible.
Tignari could tell.
Huh, you're right. I really didn't expect to run into him here. I swear, his nose must be just as sensitive as his ears. Well then, I guess it's best that we go and join him for dinner. That means I'll owe him yet another meal now. You know what? I'm not going to overthink it. I'll see you tomorrow at Pardis Di.
How dare you? How dare you make me use the clock? You whores. Oh my god. Maybe the world really does end with me. What does that even mean? That sounds cringe. Really? I'm like learning how my mother thought of me. This is not the time. I hear you. I get that. But also, fuck you. It's always time to be a hater. I'm going to tilt all the paintings in this house as revenge. That'll hurt you more than it'll hurt me. God damn it, he's right! Dear.
Squall and Fury.
I don't think Al would give two shits. Ring that bell!
Too slow.
Ring that bell and smash that like button. Fucking get up there.
Alhaitham also got my invite, right? Will he be coming to join us?
That guy? He's never been a fan of social gatherings. I wouldn't get my hopes up if I were you.
Are you sure? All right then. I guess we won't wait for him.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, maybe we should give him a little more time.
Oh my
We can
god!
keep chatting for a while longer.
Oh, sure.
You still haven't told me, what's the occasion for getting us together here at Pardis Di?
Does there
We're
need to be?
celebrating the end of the first phase of Kaveh's studies.
Or that.
I wanted to thank you all for the help you've given her along the way.
No.
Then where's Kaveh?
She said she wanted to show everyone a bit of what she's learned, so she's still doing some last-minute prep at home. She'll be here shortly. Anyway, let's get started. To tell you the truth, I'm actually not so confident that the second phase will go as well as the first. The curriculum will become a lot more involved, and I'm worried that she won't be able to get through all of it. I was hoping we could brainstorm about it together before she gets here.
I knew this wouldn't be just a simple free dinner. Is that why you also invited Alhaitham?
Yes, I thought it would be good if we could all put our heads together about this. Anyway, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. What did you guys do when you ran into a problem that you didn't know how to solve? Or got assigned a project that you knew you weren't gonna finish on time?
Never happened to me.
I'd just pull another all-nighter.
Of
You
course.
two are hopeless. Does anyone have a more useful answer to the question?
Okay, does anybody have a real solution? Pacing, my dude, pacing.
Ooh, that's a good point. Confidence is the most important thing. Once you lose your sense of confidence, it'll become all but impossible to find the motivation to study.
This could be a potential direction. I have already redesigned the literacy curriculum, and I was originally hoping to ask...
It's very simple.
Alan Givens, thank you for the follow.
Instead of focusing on the amount of material you would like to teach, focus on the amount the student would be able to remember.
Wow, you actually showed up. I could probably count the number of times you've actually come to gatherings like this on just one hand.
It's still more than the number of times you've managed to get a proposal approved on the first try.
As long as you're still aware. So, what made the difference this time? Are you looking to drink your sorrows away with some friends?
That's your purpose for being here, not mine. Don't project your ways of thinking onto me.
So you're saying the only reason you came is to help Tainari with his brainstorming?
Precisely. Kaveh will have a long road
Shout
in front
out to
of her.
indie developers.
Hey, just to get one thing clear. Even
I
if
might not
Kaveh
actually
manages
like
to
any of
make
their
her way to the
games, but
academia, we
other
cannot
people
let
do.
her enroll in her avatar. Kasharawar is obviously the best choice for her. She's been a trainee forest ranger for so long, she'll definitely be good with her hands.
Dark
What are
humor
you
depends
saying?
on how dark.
Spontamad is the better choice.
That's a
It's
very
what I graduated
broad
from, after
statement.
all.
Then what about Amorta? That's the Darshan her master actually graduated from.
There are only 2 other Darshans left. We might as well select all of them on her enrollment application.
I'm trying to have a serious discussion here. Traveler, you aren't associated with any of the 6 Darshans. In your opinion, which Darshan would be the
Turns off light.
best
Stop,
choice for
stop.
Kaveh?
That works. Let her finish her education first.
Well said.
Agreed. And my goal in inviting you here was to gather some thoughts on the execution of this second phase.
Phase 2 far exceeds Phase 1 in both curriculum complexity and the speed of instruction. I hope Kaveh has prepared herself for what is coming.
Oh god, it's like the jump from
what are you
Math 101
thinking
to
now?
Math 102.
Please don't tell me you're planning on lending her
Blech.
those abstruse books from your home library.
Actually, I was thinking about lending her a professions guide.
I'll make sure to write, "Don't become an architect" on the front page of that.
I thought you liked your job.
You're right. I can't deny that.
Is there another phase after Phase 2? What's the ultimate goal of all of this? Are we trying to prepare her for a job in the academia?
We don't need to think that far ahead. Hold that thought, though. I think my vegetables are done.
I'm telling you, that client had no
Oh, no.
idea what he was talking about.
Oh my god.
No matter what I did, he had something bad to say about it.
I feel less bad for Kaveh every time I remember that he would probably have at least a few less problems. If not for the minor alcoholism. Because that's a bunch of extra money to spend that you don't need to spend, and also, like, you want to keep all your hardships, like living with Al, a secret. And you tend to blurt that out when you get wasted.
Have you considered finding another client?
They're all the same. I haven't had a good night's sleep for months now. Who do they think they are, ordering me to alter my design over and over again just because they have some mora?
It's too late now to change careers. You might as well try to find some joy in the pain. Besides, you'll be getting up in the middle of the night to make edits to your own design even when the client doesn't request it.
No. That's not true.
Cheer up, Kaveh. I'll tell you a new joke.
Yay!
We'll save that for the end, Sino. You can keep it to yourself until then.
Oh, sorry, secret. No, just the word secret.
Whatever.
The fact that Kaveh is trying to
I'm
keep
not
secrets
going
from
to
people.
use my brain anymore.
But has no filter when he's
Let's drink
drunk.
tonight to our heart's content.
He does not look nearly wasted enough. Excuse me. He should be flushed or, like, face down on the table. Also, why am I just ominously lurking in the back? Why am I photobombing? Why are me and Kale just kind of lurking at the back? Tiny Deno energy. Alright, one more. God, we're really... I forgot these things are chalky, man. We're probably only gonna be able to do one of these per stream. Oh. What's the second hard dark humor too dark? Kamisanja, you're fine. I just don't read everything backward for word. I did see it though. That is definitely actual dark humor. But hey, it wakes. All right, from first class. Tavern, Harvest. Gotta do my gosh dang commissions as soon as I'm done with this. Also, the minigames for the event. How much longer is the event? Oh, I got time. When Kaveh asked what to do. Suggest a new career? Oh god, are we actually gonna try and help him find a different job? Oh dear.
Taking this commission was truly the worst decision ever. Oh, hey. Actually, while we're on that, what are you doing here at the tavern? Don't listen to anyone who says that drinking is an elegant pastime. It's no good for your health. So you saw all that, did you? Ugh, I thought I was
Sometimes I sound like a guy, sometimes I sound like a
made
girl.
Sure to double
Guess
check
which one's
that nobody
accurate?
I knew was around. Anyway, thanks for looking
I am an
out for me.
androgynous muppet!
Honestly, it
You'll
wasn't
never
that
guess
big
which
of a
one I
deal.
actually am!
I'm used to it by now.
That's part of my charm.
Stress is just an inescapable part of being a working adult. Boss, I'll have a glass of wine. Same as last time. Do you want something too? I'll put it on my tab.
Wine in a glass of juice, coming right up.
Start button mashing, yeah. I was
know
gonna say
you're
we've
already
seen all
keeping
this
a
twice
secret
now.
from me, but if you could add
So
this
I will
one
be
to the list
glossing,
as
don't
well,
worry.
That guy, though. What was he even going on about? Another glass, please, boss.
You've got it, sir.
It really is every other day that you'd run into a client who knows nothing about construction requirements or architectural style. But perhaps getting used to this just means that I've grown numb to it. I would spend a lot of time altering my designs, and by the time the clients were finally satisfied, all my passion and enthusiasm would be gone. It feels like I'm straying further and further from my artistic vision with every... I suppose, though, that just sticking to your guns and completely disregarding other people's feedback would also not be a good thing. All of this makes for a real paradox, one that particularly crops up in my work, too.
Here's your drink. How are you already spouting nonsense after just one glass?
Boss, what do you think is the meaning of art?
The meaning of art? Really, my friend? Anyway, I don't know about art, but I do know that I'm interested in business.
What do you think?
Yeah. Apparently it doesn't matter until I could bring up a new career path. So you know what? For the sake of completion, I got no idea, man.
No worries. It was just an offhand question. It's been bothering me for a while. Even when I'm awake, the question haunts me like a bad dream. I still haven't found a good answer to it.
Shoot, I thought that came before. Which path is that gonna be on? The guide is equally unhelpful. Yeah, shoot, the guy deadass doesn't tell me which one of these it's on. I'm going to assume it's this one?
Sounds great to me.
There we go. Yep, okay. How about a new career? You want to work at Mickey D's?
A different career. I see. That's not a bad idea. I think I've heard a saying somewhere before. 80% of a working adult's woes are due to not having enough mora in the bank. It's just a saying, of course, but even I will admit that my life would be a lot better if I could make additional mora. And if I want to make mora, I should finish that ridiculous commission. But I really can't find it in me to go back and talk to him right now. Hold on. I just remembered that I used to have a senior classmate by the name of Alkami. If memory serves me right, he's no longer taking private commissions, but he's still doing pretty well for himself. Maybe I'll be able to get some advice from him. Yeah, I should get on this right away. No more wine for me today. I'll grab the bill and be on my way.
Is Yoger any good? It was alright. It was another one of those Sentai that, like, didn't really do anything wrong. But also just didn't particularly appeal to me. It's like how Tokuger is, Tokuger is technically not a bad show in the slightest. It's just that I don't really give two shits about the kind of story it's trying to tell, and I'm also really annoyed by a couple of the characters. Namely one, but okay. A lot of people dug the hell out of it, so... I think that's on me.
Behold!
Ah, Kaveh, it's you! It's been a while.
The pink one, yeah.
What have you been up to
recently?
Kagura.
Yeah, it's been a long time,
Her shtick
Alkami.
got very annoying very
Things
quickly.
haven't changed much for me. I'm still taking private commissions for all kinds of projects.
I heard that you were the genius behind the Palace of Alcazazare. I bet you're all set for Mora after a project of that size.
Well, it's hard to make a profit from every project, you know?
Hard to make a profit? You've got to be joking. I've never met an architect who didn't make a profit from a project. Unless the client fled before they paid the commission fee in full. But that doesn't sound right either. Doesn't Dory have a pretty decent reputation in our local business circles? I don't think she's ever been involved in any kind of big scandal.
Well, about that. I mean, it was complicated.
I understand. Either way, doing one project after another sure gets exhausting over the years, huh? I've been there, so I can feel your pain. I mean, I obviously never had your reputation to live up to. That must have been stressful. But I'm sure we faced all the same problems. Trying to keep your client in a good mood while you're trying to stop them from micromanaging things they don't know the first thing about. I don't miss it. Thankfully, that's all behind me now. Not exactly. My work is still closely related to architecture. Judging from the look on your face, you're still strapped for Mora. That's quite unfortunate. You're the most artistically gifted graduate the Ksharawar Darshan has seen in decades. But it looks like you still have a lot to learn in terms of making Mora. With that said, us Ksharawar grads should still look out for each other. What if I told you about an idea that'll absolve you of all your Mora troubles going forward?
Are you serious? But something like that has got to be some kind of top-level business secret. Are you sure you can just share something like that with me? Besides, I don't want to just take something like that without offering anything in return. I still have a little Mora. Or is there something that I can help you with?
Oh, you're too kind. This is just a simple tip. Even if I didn't bring it up, I'm sure you'd hear it from the others sooner or later. The idea is this. I recently opened up a training center with the goal of educating people in architecture design. Compared to the classes taught by those old fossils at the academia, my classes are more condensed and streamlined and will allow people to quickly get their foot in the door. Unlike the academia, I won't turn down anyone who's interested, rich or poor. As long as someone wishes to learn more about architecture, I'll accept them into my training center. It just so happens that I'm still looking for a few more instructors. So, what do you say? Interested in coming over
what
to give
should
a
I
few
do?
lectures?
Rob a bank?
Regardless of the pay.
Aw.
I can already
Does
guarantee
anyone
that
have
it'll
to
be
get
far
hurt?
more
Not if
comfortable
you leave
than
before the
working
police
on
get
random
there.
people's private
Deal.
commissions.
Ah, so you want me to join you as an instructor? That does sound like something I'd be able to do. It sounds like a pretty stable job, too. What do you think, Traveler?
At least you wouldn't have to deal with clients anymore.
Then it's a deal.
Yes, it's a deal. Thank you, Alkami.
Like I said, there's no need to thank me for this. The lecture room is not far from here, so you can just come straight here tomorrow morning. As for the pay, how about we start at 300,000 mora per lecture?
Bruh, what the fuck?
300,000? Are you serious? How could you offer so much?
It would seem that you're still oblivious to your own economic worth. 300,000 is nothing compared to the prestige of having the Light of Ksharawar as one of my instructors. 300,000 is also just the base rate. Just trust me on this. The longer you stick with me, the more you'll come to understand your true value in the market. I have to go make some preparations now. See you tomorrow.
I was never particularly close with Alkami when we were in school. Who would have thought that he'd be so nice and friendly? I've hosted free lectures before, but this would be my first time being hired to lecture for a formal business. 300,000 mora per lecture. Whew. I'm so excited that I'm starting to get nervous.
I'll join you to make sure this isn't a scam. Because that's, that's a little too generous for how things usually go for you.
Thanks so much. I think I will be able to relax a bit more with a friend in the audience. Now, what should I talk about tomorrow? Some lessons I've learned over the past few years? I should probably save those for later. For my first lecture, I should start by getting them more interested in the field. All right, let's meet here again tomorrow morning. I should hurry home and create some kind of lesson plan. If I'm going to become an instructor, I should make sure I show up prepared.
Shit, I completely blanked on what time. We'll assume the morning. Get fucked, Goro!
Oh, I didn't expect you two to get here so early.
I was up last night preparing for the lecture, but I ended up getting so excited that I couldn't fall asleep. Here, I've prepared a lesson plan. Do you want to take a look?
Lesson plan? I must commend you for your dedication. But the training center has already developed its own set of teaching materials. Instead of using your own plan, you can just use what we have here. Of course, you're always welcome to work in some of your own content to add some fun and flavor.
Can I look at your materials, make sure you're not smuggling doobies or something?
Sure. Be my guest.
I don't trust anyone.
It's almost time for the lecture to start.
At a first
Feel
glance,
free to head in
nothing
and
appears
start the
to be
class whenever
amiss.
you're ready.
Huh. So you've already developed your own set of teaching materials. Seems like I won't need the stuff I've prepared after all. Anyway, shouldn't be a problem. I'll just go ahead and use your materials. There's something else I want to ask, though. This isn't going to be a large class, is it?
No need to stress. There are only 20 people in this class. There are 14 classes at my training center. Out of all of them, the first class has the best grades, so I've directed them to you. We'll see how well they take to your lectures.
20 people, huh? All right. I think I can handle that.
Oh, and one last thing. In the interest of keeping a quiet learning space, only instructors and students are allowed in the classroom when class is in session. I'm sorry to say this, but your friend will have to wait outside while you teach the class.
Sus.
Sorry about that. I'll meet you at the door when the class is over, then.
Is this guy really nice? Or is he just another jerkety jerk?
Hey there. Can I help you? Oh, Alkami? You mean that rich guy who's been making quite the name for himself? Yeah, he commissioned a set of furniture from me a while back. Paid a great deal of mora for it, too. I heard he earned a fortune working as a renowned architect. Now he's opened a training center so others can follow in his footsteps. If the tuition wasn't sky high, I'd enroll my child in a heartbeat. Architecture really sounds like a lucrative profession.
Did you hear? Alkami recruited Kaveh to be an instructor.
I bet that'll boost his enrollment numbers.
Really makes you jealous, eh? If you think about it, Alkami was never that talented himself as an architect. If we're just talking about professional skill, no one would pay for a class with him.
That's true, but you've got to admit, his advertisements are really effective. After all, the academia only admits those that can pass its entrance exam, so only a few people could hope to study architecture in the halls of the Kasharwar. For those who can't pass the exam, or who just want to jump straight into the industry, the training center is the best bang for the mora.
Man, to have that kind of business acumen.
All right, everyone. There's no need to be nervous. Class is over, so we can just chat for a bit. I shouldn't have lost my temper during the lecture. Did I
I'm
scare
happy
anybody?
to get to see this class.
No, you weren't scary at all, Mr. Kaveh. We were just a bit lost and didn't get what you were talking about.
What did you do?
Oh, don't get me started. I was trying to use Alkami's materials, so I flipped through some pages and gave them a closer look. The more I read, the more upset I became. Alkami may fool an amateur, but he can't fool anyone who's active in our profession. The materials he made are completely useless for teaching real architecture. In my opinion, the most important skill of an architect is their ability to craft a design. In other words, they must be able to conceptualize
And I'm going to assume he had reason to be
ideas.
upset once he
There
actually
are
looked at
tens
what
of
this guy had
thousands
to,
of buildings in the
what
world,
this guy's
as
materials
well as
had
a
to say.
countless number of architectural styles.
I don't
Some
think this guy
designs
is on the
emphasize aesthetics, while others prioritize practicality. The architects who can critically evaluate the quality and fit of different designs are those who can come up with great designs of their own. But you won't get any of that from the teaching materials they're using here. All these students are doing in class is rote memorization of existing designs. They are learning nothing about the underlying principles. How can they expect to become real architects? When they're done with this class, all they'll become are dilettantes with a pitiful smattering of architectural knowledge.
But, Mr. Kaveh, we didn't really understand anything you said after you threw away the materials either. What's the big deal anyway? It's not like we're looking to make some works of art. We just want to make some mora.
You're studying architecture to make mora?
Yeah. Why else would we be studying here? My biggest dream is to become someone like Mr. Alkami.
Once I finally make my fortune in architecture, I'll be able to buy anything I like.
Huh. In that case, I'm afraid you'll probably be disappointed.
Mr.
The
Kaveh, what's the
reality
deal
is
with
that the work of
Hante?
an architect is very difficult, and the pay is not
Dilettante.
lucrative at all. Believe me, I'm a perfect example.
Don't mind me.
But how? Mr. Alkami just told us last night that you made a killing by building the Palace of Alcazarzare. He also said that as long as we graduate from his class, waves upon waves of people will reach out to us with private commissions, and we can just sit back and wait for Mora to fill up our pockets.
You're like 10!
It won't be long before I can put these miserable days behind me.
Come on. And you all believed everything he said?
But Mr. Alkami is really rich, isn't he?
You... It's pointless trying to argue this with you right now. You've already filled your heads with pipe dreams. Let's go, traveler. Let's hear about Alkami's true plans from the man himself.
Worldly little shits, fucking right? These 10-year-olds being all in on this fucking pyramid scheme bullshit. Like, what the
What's
fuck?
wrong, Kaveh? You look quite flustered. Did one of my students offend you?
A little bit,
Were
but
the
that's not the
students
point.
not astute enough for your liking? I must implore you to go a bit easier
I want
on
to
them.
build this thing and make this
After
design.
all,
And this is
they're
gonna look
nothing
so
like
cool.
the genius scholars
I
we're
want to
used to
have
dealing
enough
with
money
at
to
the
eat
academia.
today.
We don't need to strive for perfect understanding.
I have several
As long
questions.
as some knowledge has been passed on, that's good enough.
Yeah, I'm mad at them. But I'm even more upset that you're scamming people under the guise of teaching them about architecture. The students are all here hoping for a quick way to make money, but we both know that an architect's life is hard and exhausting. Just a little while ago, I was toiling over the 6th draft of a design for a client. If your client is unhappy, you can't break ground, and the longer a project goes, the longer it takes for you to get paid in full. What's worse, if your client disappears in the middle of a project, good luck getting anything from them ever again. You know all of this just as well as I do. Why lie to them?
Look, Kaveh, you may be the light of Ksharawar, but like I said, you still have a lot to learn about making Mora. You may deny it all you want, but it's a fact that in today's Sumeru, architecture is a terrible profession. Our clients care very little for the effort we pour into our designs. Instead of appreciating us, they spend all their time nitpicking details and demanding changes, often forcing all kinds of ridiculous ideas onto us.
I suppose that's more or less true. Go on.
Why should we cling on to a profession that's difficult and unrewarding? If the field is dying, then a person who still wants to make a good living will just have to change their strategy. If it's near impossible to make money
title
as an
artist
architect,
subjective, sure.
then why not just establish a training center and train other people to become architects in our stead?
Wait, how does that make any sense? Aren't you just leading them into the same trap?
Yeah, are
we
you stupid?
are already stuck, my friend. The more people we can lead into this pit and stack as padding beneath our feet, the more comfortable our lives will be.
1, they're 10. 2, what?
That's right. Making money as an architect is a slow and agonizing process. In comparison, earning tuition from a training center is far easier. None of the students will ever know, however. In their eyes, all of my income was earned during my years as an architect. It's easy for them to fall for my promise. After all, everyone wants to live the dream of being the person who can spend millions without batting an eye. The more students I get, the more money I earn. And the more real that dream becomes.
And then what? Once they graduate, they'll still find out the truth about architecture.
Dead-ass
and
the
struggle to
pyramid
stay
scheme.
afloat amid all the problems we already talked about. When that happens, your facade will pop like a soap bubble. No one will believe you anymore.
Ah, but that's just one way to look at the problem. No two people have the same amount of talent. Even if they fail to strike gold in the future, you can't say that it's my fault and mine alone. Oh, and also, I never actually promised that they would achieve financial freedom as long as they become architects. All I did was nudge them towards that belief. I'm not even scared if they do come back and stir up trouble. My training center has all the required permits and certifications. Even the Dendro Archon herself couldn't find fault in any part of my business.
How can you sleep at night knowing that you're doing all this? Tell me, is your heart carved out of brick and stone? I can't believe that I once saw you as a decent human being.
Why are you putting inspection points down? I didn't do this,
I
Sam.
am beyond disappointed in you.
I looked into it, and we
the
don't
same goes
have
to you.
a bank in Sumeru on
How
a legal
many years
loophole.
has it been since you graduated from
Well,
the
I'm thinking
academia?
maybe we're pulling my leg.
If you
Thinking my
still
chain,
can't
if you will.
accept something like this,
You could still rob it.
Plan on keeping that worthless naivete
Damn,
of
he's
yours
good.
until the end of time. Only fools will see art as revered and sacred. In the end, art is just another business. Being successful at running a business is an art form in itself. I urge you to think about what I've said. Offloading your pain onto others is the only way a person can live comfortably in this world. As the light of the Ksharowa,
He's right.
you've
He's got
accumulated
those legal
plenty
loopholes
of
wrapped up
fame
tighter than a
and
Christmas
respect.
present.
It's high time that you use those resources to improve the circumstances of your own life. Think it over, Kaveh.
He can
I
do that
still
without
believe our
scamming
collaboration
10-year-olds.
could
Thank
be
you very
very
much.
fruitful.
So what next?
I'm so mad, I feel a headache coming on. There's nothing more I can say to him. I'll resign from my position as instructor.
I feel like this is the least of our concerns.
Of course. I'm sure you've realized that as long as I remained at this center, he would be able to use my name to advertise this place. Even if I just sit back and do nothing, others will be deceived and suffer because of me. He is right about one thing, though. These kinds of training centers are everywhere. And even if the academia was to find out about it, it's unlikely that they would take any real action against it. The most that they could accuse him of is false advertising. And even that would be hard to prove.
Something sus about all this.
Oh? Did you notice something else?
Some of the students did not appear to be very wealthy.
Yeah, you've got a point.
They
The
seem
rate
to
he
have
gave
trouble
me was
eating.
300,000 mora per lecture. That probably came out of the students' tuition. And who knows just how much he's been charging the students for attending his classes. If you're gambling everything on making it rich as an architect, are you really going to have the mora to pay for that kind of tuition? Right. We should hurry. The students didn't believe a word I was telling them. They're still daydreaming about making millions. We're never going to get any information from them again if we let Alkami talk to them first. Let's move now before he's had the chance to react.
Kid, how much did you pay for this lecture?
Oh, Mr. Kaveh? What are you doing back here?
Class finished a while ago, but you're still here. Why haven't you gone home?
I wanted to stay for a little longer. I'm still thinking about everything you taught during the class. Even though a lot of it went right over my head, I still thought the houses you drew were really pretty.
Of course they were. All the examples I drew were world-famous landmarks. Each one was the magnum opus of a celebrated architect. It's a good thing that you could recognize them for their beauty. The accumulation of knowledge is the first step to artistic expression. Instead of rote memorization, you should try to relate and to understand, and after that, try to resonate with the work.
Resonate?
Yes. When I first got into architecture, there were many things about it that I couldn't understand at all. I would find a building to be beautiful, but have no idea what made it so good. And for most people, just being able to admire a building is enough. To become a good architect, however, you must also learn to assess and appraise. Going from admiration to assessment will take a lot of time and specialized knowledge, and I'm afraid that some superficial speed training won't be enough to take you there.
Just as I thought. Becoming an architect won't be as easy as Mr. Alkami made it out to be, right?
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to crush your dreams. All I want to tell you is that an architect's life is not as carefree
I don't want to
and
crush your
easy as
dreams.
others may
I'm
make it
just
out to
crushing
be.
your dreams.
I understand. Thank you for telling me the truth, Mr. Kaveh. I think I'll still stay here for the time being, though, since my family still hasn't paid everything off.
Paid off what?
Sorry, I can't say anything more. Mr. Alkami made it very clear that anyone who talks about it will be kicked out of the class.
Don't listen to him.
It's a
I'm
bad
the
class.
most famous architect in Sumeru. If he kicks you out, then I'll just take you in instead.
Hey.
Really?
Why would I pull your leg? I can see you have some talent, so as long as you get your fundamentals down, you should be able to pass the entrance exam and continue your studies at the academia.
Then please keep this a secret for me, Mr. Kaveh. Truth be told, my family is not very well off, so we couldn't really afford the tuition for this class. Mr. Alkami was the one who reached out to my parents. He told them that he knew a merchant by the name of Bahar and that we could get a loan from him. He told all the students that once we graduate, people would come flocking to commission us for projects. If everything went well, we'd be able to pay off everything in just a few years, and all the more we make after that would be ours.
Jesus Christ.
How much did your family borrow from this merchant?
I think it was several million mora.
And what was the interest rate?
I'm not really sure. My parents were the ones who signed the contract.
Mr.
All I
Kaveh,
know
what's
is that the
interest?
stack of papers was as
Oh,
thick
dear
as a
God.
slab of rock.
Why are we being so coy about this? This is extremely fucked up. We should have called the goddamn cops. The second we talked to the guy, he literally admitted, yeah, I'm scamming children.
Yeah, I have a bad feeling too.
Bruh.
Something about the whole thing feels dastardly familiar. We need to find that merchant to confirm. But if we were to confront him right now, there's no way he'd admit to anything.
And to be custom.
Good idea. Hey, tell me, do you know where we'd be able to find this merchant?
We last saw him on the north shore of Port Ormos. Who knows if he's still in that area, though.
Well, it'd still be worth taking a look. Architecture... No. The arts shouldn't be used as bait for a scam. We need to do something before the students' lives are ruined even further.
Call the cops? We're not gonna call the cops. Oh, really? You're gonna make me go all the way over here? Come on.
Quit following me.
Riding, come quick. We need your help. I'm all the way over in Inazuma. Someone's committing tax fraud. I'll get my sword. Be right there. All right, I'm gonna see if I can get away with something. It may end up backfiring horribly, depending on how much input it wants from me. I really have to pee, and I've got wireless headphones for a reason. So I'm gonna go up here and try to leave it on autoplay and see if I can get away with rushing to run to the bathroom real quick without taking a full-on intermission. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen you guys before. Here for business.
You're Fahar, right?
Because it looks like it's gonna ask me questions.
May I ask who introduced you?
Alkami. My friend here wants to enroll in his architecture class, but they're a bit short on money. Alkami told us you're the man to go to in this kind of situation.
I'm really interested in architecture. So interested that I'm gonna leave you to talk it over with my good friend Lovekov until we hit a wall.
Oh, sounds like his business is booming. How much do you need?
Let me see. I'd say around 3 million mora.
Oof. You call that a bit short on money? Anyway, since you're here because of Alchemy, I can work things out for you. Make sure you sign the contract, though. Lots of people are borrowing money from me nowadays.
God damn it, I did not think he was gonna out himself that quickly.
Here you go. Don't worry, there's
Didn't even
nothing
try.
particularly unusual about it. All you need to do is pay back the loan in full within 3 years.
Yeah, don't even
And
read
what if
it.
they won't be able to pay it back?
Just
What do you
sign.
mean, won't be able to pay it back? Once you graduate from Alchemy's place, you'll be making millions of mora a year. Easy! At that point, paying this off will be a piece of cake. And even if you were to run into some difficulties and need to delay the installments, it's no big deal. We're all reasonable people here. If you can't pay quickly, you can just pay it back over a longer period. All that would change is your interest rates would get a little higher. It's hard
I'm
work
sure.
running a business. If we're taking risks to supply you with mora, it's only fair that you take on a bit of the financial risk as well.
I didn't protest or
Anyway,
anything, but
there's
sure.
no point in tying yourself in knots over the contract. With the way you're reading every single line, it's like you're worried you're about to get scammed out of your whole life savings. Why would I lie to you? Tons of students at Alchemy's place have
You're
signed
trying
the contract.
way too hard, my
Aren't
dude.
they all doing pretty well for themselves?
I just did some calculations in my head. When you say the interest will get a little higher, do you mean it'll get higher than 30%? Of course, the contract did a great job of trying to obfuscate that fact. It only listed the amount that you'll have to repay every day, which gives the false impression that the amount hasn't actually increased by all that much. If you actually do the math, however, it's clear that the amount you need to pay on interest alone will amount to hundreds of thousands of mora per year. Most people can't even make that much mora in a year. Your greed really knows no bounds. Even my creditor doesn't dare to raise rates that high. Once a family's signed on to a scheme like this,
Yo,
there's
this
no
guy's
getting
more
out.
evil than Dory.
What are you trying to say, huh?
My good friend Sino is on speed dial. He wants to play Yu-Gi-Oh with you.
In hell. I figured something was off when two well-dressed people came looking for a loan. Think you got the better of me? Too many people are sticking their noses where they don't belong these days. Luckily for me, though, this is a pretty secluded spot. Hey, come out and teach these guys a lesson!
Eremites? I've already fought off more than my fair share of them when I was working in the desert. There are only a few of them, so they shouldn't pose much of a threat. Marak, you're up! That's following orders. Scanning!
Billowing surge! Rusted!
The wind rises.
Who are you, and what do you want?
We already said.
I don't think we've done anything
We didn't
to
say who
hurt
we
or
are, but
offend
like
you.
it's obvious
So
we're here
why
to
go
bust
this
you,
far
my
to
dude.
destroy my livelihood?
Debt has the power to upend your whole life. I know very well just how miserable living in debt can be. But my debts are the culmination of many different factors, and my interest rate is still somewhat reasonable. As long as I continue to work with my situation in mind, my debts will eventually be paid off. But these students are different. They have neither the mental preparation nor the financial resources to pay back a debt like this. You sold the dreams of becoming an architect to the students as bait, urging them to take on insurmountable amounts of debt to satisfy your greed.
Ha! Everyone knows there's no such thing as a free lunch. It's their own fault for falling into the trap.
10-year-olds don't.
And if we're going to talk about greed, aren't those students the ones who are blinded by it? They completely ignore the risk that's right there in front of them.
They're 10! They don't even know what interest is, my dude! Shut the fuck up! Jesus Christ!
Ha! And here comes the silver tongue. Surely you use that to reel in the students
Oh yeah,
as well.
real smooth talker.
Even
this
now,
one.
many of them are still hopelessly dreaming of striking gold after they graduate. People grow by learning from their mistakes. I hope this will be a valuable lesson to them. Let's head back to the academia and turn this guy over to the Matra. They should be able to link him with Alkami's business. Sino? Didn't think I would run into you here.
My vacation just ended not too long ago, so I'm going over some cases at the academia. Who's this? I see. Charging an interest rate over 30% indeed constitutes a crime. As it is highly likely that Alkami is also benefiting from this scheme, the Matra will open an investigation on him as well. The training center will be closed until further notice.
I'll see.
Any funds we manage to recover from the suspects will be returned to the students. It's unclear how much we'll be able to get back, however, given their extravagant spending.
That should still be enough. Once the students realize the error of their ways, they won't fall so easily for such traps in the future. Anyway, thank you for your help. I hope this won't be too much trouble for you.
It's no trouble. Just another day at work. How did you two get tangled up in this anyway? Did you accept any mora from him?
He promised to pay me 300,000 mora per lecture, but I resigned as soon as I finished the first session. I didn't take a single coin.
Ah, that's good.
What do you mean, that's good? Would you have taken me into custody as well if I had actually accepted any mora?
Bruh.
I wouldn't have gone that far. But, had he insisted that you were also an active participant in his schemes, under our rules, we would have been required to open an investigation on you as well.
Bro, what the
Either
fuck?
way, though,
I thought we were friends.
I believe you are innocent in all of this. Had you actually been alright with making money through less than noble means, your life wouldn't be the mess it currently is.
Hey, what was that? What do you mean my life is a mess?
Never mind. Your life is fine.
You're just messing with me now, aren't you?
Let's get back to business. If Alkami's case can be successfully resolved, you'll be eligible for a monetary reward from the academia. Don't forget to pick it up after the fact.
Huh. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I never would have guessed. What I'm trying to say is that
There's
we
a
didn't
Good
report
Samaritan
Alkami because
award?
we thought we could make some more off of it.
The reward will be given regardless of your personal motivations.
Is this the Marvel
universe? It was
universe?
implemented with the intent of encouraging people to supply tips to the Matra.
Fine.
Is there anything else?
I want to go back to the training center one more time and talk to some of the kids.
Sure, but you should wait until tomorrow. My subordinates will shut down the center today, and summon the students to gather information on the total amount of mora they've lost in the scam.
All right, then I'll stay out of their way. I can talk to the kids tomorrow.
I have a few other things to take care of, so I'll be off for now. If you want to follow up on this case, just come find me again. Or ask one of the Matra.
That should finally be the end of that. Oh, who would have thought it would turn out like this? All I wanted was to find a new gig
What's
and
the
earn some
reward?
mora.
10 whole
To think
packets of
Alkami
Genius
would
Invocation
sink this low.
TCG cards.
It still makes me really
Priceless,
upset.
I know.
Still, I think I feel a little better now than when you found me back at the tavern.
Internal screaming.
It's a little ironic, but you could say it's because I've realized that there are many circumstances in the world that are even worse than my own.
That's what
Now that
happens
I've
when you
seen
follow
such
Seto
things
Kaiba's economic
firsthand,
policy.
I suppose I've earned a new sense of appreciation for my life. how should I put it?
Yo, a
I'm
whole
pretty
ass
stubborn
box.
when it
Hey,
comes to my
that's
profession,
something.
so I often argue with my clients.
You have any idea how satisfying it
The
is to open
arguments
a
are
whole box
usually
of those
extremely
things?
frustrating. And every once in a while,
I
I'd
have
wonder
done
if
that
I
exactly
only became an
once.
architect because fate wanted me to pay for some sins I'd committed in a previous life. Alkami's suggestion would have allowed me to quit my life as an architect and earn money solely from my reputation. But now that I've experienced that for myself, I can confidently say that I'd never want to do it again. Every scholar has their own sense of pride and a line that they don't like to cross. Of course, when faced with the vicissitudes of life, some will surrender these things to seek a more comfortable life. I can understand that. Just speaking for myself, though, I don't think that's something I'd ever be able to do. The voice in my heart would just keep repeating one thing. The moment I turn away from my dreams would be the moment my career ends. If I stopped devoting everything to my creative activities, I'd be able to lead a more comfortable life, but at the same time, my sense of intuition and understanding for the arts would also begin to degrade. At that point, any materialistic ease I may have gained in life would just become another form of torment. In comparison, my current life comes with its share of difficulties, but at least I'd never have to deal with that kind of existential reckoning.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think I had gotten
this, but I would
whatever
also like
set
to think
the
I'm
original Dark
talented enough
Magician
to
Girl
be able
came
to
out
lead a
in.
decent life without compromising my pride.
I
It's
saved up
certainly
$100
not easy, but I want to keep
from like
at
birthday gifts and
My
whatnot.
thanks again for being such a great help throughout all of this.
Actually, I paid
I'm
for the
planning to
entire
pay another
box
visit to those
myself.
kids tomorrow. Want to come with me?
Sure.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow then.
I must save
Get some
the
good rest.
children.
Time! Magician's Force, that's the one.
Squall Fury.
I think that's one of my favorite things about Star Rail over this game. Just my favorite, more subtle, minor things. No time system. Do you dare mention the year that set released in? I'm going to guess 2004. (2003). Okay. Yep. I actually knew it had to have been around then. Because I know I did that back before I moved to South Carolina. Weird to think that it is weird to think that I've now lived in South Carolina
Center has been shut down,
longer than I lived in
and the Matra
DC.
have promised to return some of our tuition, but we've already spent so much time on this class. What should we do next?
Mr. Kaveh said we can keep working on our fundamentals and try to get into the academia. Huh. Easier said than done. If it was easier to get into the academia, none of us would have signed up for the class in the first place. Only the best of the best can get into the academia studying on their own.
You kids are like 10!
Mr. Kaveh
and
might be
all
willing to
weirdly
teach us.
overly intellectual
Why?
for your ages.
What reason does he have to stick around?
I think you'll be fine.
So,
I don't know if they
you're
would
the
accept
only ones
kids
that
this
showed
young.
up
I don't
today,
think they
huh?
do.
Huh? Kaveh's here.
Now, that's Mr. Kaveh to you.
Poorly little shits.
I'm here as your instructor, so let's keep things a little more proper. I'll keep instructing you for a while longer. You can pass on the message to the other students. As long as someone wants to come, they can join the class. Oh, also, I'm usually pretty busy, so I'll only be able to teach architecture fundamentals on my days off. Another disclaimer, I can't promise that you'll all be able to understand everything I'm going to teach. Architecture is not an easy profession. Aesthetics aside, even the basics of safe design can already be a handful for most people. If you want to design safe buildings, you'll have to go through a systematic study of structural engineering. And just as a heads up, all of this will be a huge step up from the superficial stuff you were learning before. It'll take both talent and perseverance to get through the course. I don't want to hear anyone say that I didn't warn you.
Because they were tricked into a pyramid scheme by some asshole who hates his job being an architect. And so instead decided to trick a bunch of children into becoming architects while scamming money off of them. So we busted the guy's operation open, but the kids, they're like, these are 30-year-olds trapped in small children's bodies. So they're here just talking about, man, I've already invested so much time into this class. What do I do now? So Kave's gonna be a cool guy and keep teaching them.
We'll try our best.
Until they can get into the proper channels to do the things they want to do.
It seems some of you are really serious about this after all. All right, everyone, pack your stuff up. No need to prepare much for today's class. We're going to go on a quick field trip. You'll know once we get there. Come on, let's get going.
Has the stream just been
We'll be
Kave's
off
hangout?
once
Yep,
everyone's
that's
grabbed
apparently
their
all we're gonna
pencils
get
and sketch
done.
pads.
Because this ended up taking almost 4 hours, and I started late. And it's still not done! What about the library? The what now? That I was gonna say also, yeah, that's the thing with these hangout events, is the fact that, like, I guess only one route is canon, or I don't know, maybe they're all somehow canon. But yeah, like, oh cool, we got all these kids out of this pyramid scheme.
Behold.
But what about the poor kids in the desert with no life that we were gonna build a library for? Fuck those kids, I guess. It's really messed up to think about. And then vice versa. If we do build a library, it's great. Good for those kids, but this fucking operation's still gonna be going on.
Too slow.
We can't have our cake and eat it too, apparently.
This lighthouse has been around for a long time, and I handled its renovations when I first graduated from the academia. The point of today is not so much about the lighthouse as a building, however. I just want you to take a look at it and do a bit of self-reflection. If you were tasked today with designing a building, how would you want it to look like?
I'd build
Don't
a Chuck
think
E.
about how
Cheese.
you'd actually go about building it for now. Just put your ideas to paper and draw the prettiest building that comes to your mind.
So it can be, any kind of building?
Yep, as long as you think it'd look good. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a building. If you want, you can draw trees, the ocean, or even a garden area. Draw whatever you'd like.
What's the point of this exercise? Lumine, please. Creativity, girl, creativity.
In my experience, it's best to approach the study of architecture from a point of personal interest, rather than for the sake of a career. Both the study and practice of architectural design are extremely difficult. A person who's forced to work on projects
Can
that
mine
they
be
don't
made out
resonate
of
with
cheese?
will only struggle and suffer.
I have several questions,
So at least
but
for
sure.
today, I hope the students will be able to create something that they enjoy. There's no need to think about it too hard.
These kids are all poor too,
They'll have
man.
plenty of time in the future to revisit the design.
Of course
and
they
make
want to make
changes.
one made out of cheese. They can't
What do you
afford to
think?
eat.
Want to try your hand at it as well? Don't forget that this is a free class from Mr. Kaveh, the Light of the Kasharwar. On a normal day, this would cost you 300,000 mora.
Aww. Oh, we're teaching the chillins. What's that one kid drawing? It's his house. We did it, Kaveh. We saved the children from interest rates. Yeah, but I'm sadly still in debt. Don't worry. I have over 75 million mora. You have what? You have a what now? Spits out his drink. He wasn't even drinking anything, but he spits out his drink anyway. Yeah, Lumine with the teapot. Yeah, that's cute. That's where I live, man. It was a little roundabout, but Kave's now caring for children. Not the tiny foxes we wanted, but hey, yeah, you know what? We'll take it. One way or another, Kaveh has to take care of kids. Alright. Well, didn't mean for it to take so long. It was probably partially my own fault for stopping a lot to talk to people and whatnot, but, that was a fun one. Those were cute. Like I said, Kaveh's a good character. He is. They just need to, they just he grew on me even during the event. Like, it's literally just Al. Like, they just try way too hard with the goddamn Fujo baiting, and he changes into a completely different character anytime Al's around. Or sometimes even when he's not. Guess he'll, like, try to force him into every conversation and make it about him even when he's not even fucking there. But yeah, that was cute. Again, the implications that the endings can't both be canon is a little like, oh, one way or another, children are gonna suffer. But, hey. It's fine. We'll pretend they're all canon somehow. For my own sake. I like saving the children. I like the idea of Kaveh's, I like the idea of Kaveh's school for kids who can't read good and want to learn how to do other good stuff, too. I've partaken in a couple of pyramid schemes in my time. Listen, I can explain the 5 million Mora tab. Oh, child. He's also rich. He's fine. No worries. Most of that money probably comes from him. That's the canonical explanation. But alright. Yeah, sorry I could only get one done. I don't know, when we'll come back to do the rest. Probably next week. Because I imagine I knock on wood. Hopefully, God willing, we'll get engaged done. Only 2. Only 2, so we're not too bad. I just can't fall behind like this ever again. But yeah, God willing, I'll be able to get engaged done this weekend. Then Sunday is a superhero. And then next week, I'll probably... We'll see how engaged goes. Hopefully we've... I don't... You know, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to talk about it in a different video, and 2, I'm not going to jinx myself by saying surely it won't get worse. I'm just going to say, hopefully we can get it finished. And if we do get it finished, hopefully we'll come back and do these last 2. Yeah, she does have more endings. I just noticed that. That's weird. Some characters earlier on had 6 as well, I believe. Not sure what determines it. But yeah. Layla next. We'll do Layla next. Even though I know I've at least met Layla before. Farazan showed up at that new event and I was like, who? Miku?
Where'd that wind come from?
Shut the fuck up, Paimon. I hate you. I just realized, oh my god, yeah, wait a minute. That's why the Hangout event was good. Did Paimon say a word that entire time? Shut up. I don't think Paimon said a word that entire goddamn quest line. Any of those rounds. No wonder! God damn it! Oh. You fucking noticed. That's why those were so good. Alright. Alright, we're figuring stuff out. I'm gonna stop rambling and go watch some Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't think Paimon, like, now that I think about it, I don't think, it never dawned on me because, like, I've only recently become so annoyed with Paimon. I don't think Paimon talks that much during the Hangouts in general. Like, it's been a while since I've done any other ones, aside from this one, but, yeah, I think I remember, like, during, Hazos or something, she eventually kind of popped up, and I was surprised that she popped up. Yeah, I think she's actually usually MIA for those. Hangout events are great. I can't wait to do more. Alright, like I said, we'll come back and do Layla's and Farazan's whenever I feel like it. Again, probably next week, but we'll see. We'll see what the weekend holds. Alrighty, gonna take a quick break and go watch some Yu-Gi-Ohs. Thank you all very much for joining me. Special thanks to Fusion, Ninja, Go-Kart to your patrons, Vroom Vroom. If you want to help support Kaveh being too relatable for his own good, check out links in the description. Love you guys. Nighty-night.